See what we
You
do
think a
this
kid would be
year.
happier if you
let's see,
walked by
we're
and dropped a 10 on his
hour
bed?
in,
Or,
and we're
or
4 times 24.
or a PS2
Hey, we're on
game.
track. Nice. And we're back. If you're just joining us, this is Octobercast. It's our 24-hour Child's Play Marathon podcast extravaganza tragedy. We're joined now by the Idle Thumbs gang. Jake Rodkin, Chris Remo, Sean Vanneman.
Hey,
after
how's it
some
going?
technical difficulties there.
It's cool.
We lost like 8 minutes, so that time's
minutes?
gone. That's never coming back.
Do you guys
Who knows
actually have
what
to
was on it?
undonate that money then?
Yeah, any money that came in the last 8 minutes, refunds.
They'll have to refund
Straight back.
everything.
Is that the number of minutes you lose when you're abducted in the X-Files, or is that...
It might be something like
Is it
that.
8 minutes?
I don't remember the number.
If you,
grams,
if you
something like that?
notice later you have a sore anus, then you'll
That's
know
a
the
different
reason-
thing,
you'll know
Gary.
the-
That's
It's
not...
bad roommate.
That
Gary.
may be unconnected.
Bad roommate.
So yeah, the Idle Thumbs. This is a big get for us.
You guys are our big pull.
That was a big lie from you. Good.
You
The
are
headliners.
What are some of your other gets?
Idle Thumbs, also featuring Jeff Green and Adam Savage. So yeah, you
and a
know.
bunch of homeless guys from
Yeah,
outside.
they just come in. It turns out
They just wander
I was
in
gonna say.
for free Halloween candy.
Yeah.
So we were talking before, and I didn't know what the collective for Idle Thumbs is. Are you the Thumbs? Are you the Idols?
I think we're the thumbs.
The Thumbs
Thumbs
is
are
You
good.
use the word
Probably
thumbs
good.
a lot, right? You just
We
call yourself
do.
the
yeah,
thumbs.
yeah, it's,
We use it a
an
lot.
easy.
That's what we...
I'm not sure why.
We ourselves are occasionally referred to as that. The people who listen to our
Oh, yeah.
podcast are referred to as that, or as readers.
What?
For
What-
no reason.
what
But
was
we
the
do that
gen-
too, because I never know. Are they viewers? Are they listeners? Are they
it's
readers?
readers.
Oh, it's readers.
Yeah.
Readers,
What was
Our
the
audio
genesis
only
of
site.
Idle Thumbs? Did you all is it like a boy band where you'll answer an ad in the newspaper? And that's
Yes.
how they put it? How did it work? How did you all
precisely
first come
that, yeah.
together?
Boston cover
Well,
band.
It's the original site was launched in 2004, and that was Jake and I and some guys mainly from the UK started up the site as kind of an alternative kind of gaming editorial site because there are definitely never enough of those.
I was just thinking, there's a real hole in the market. It's like
So-
tech sites.
exactly.
Somebody
So-
should do one of those.
There were fewer of them in 2004.
That's
but
true. There were fewer of them,
it's-
and blogs weren't really a thing.
A
at
lot
the
of
time.
that-
As a site or as a podcast? Or
No,
both?
it
It was
started
just
off,
a site at the time.
It started
Okay.
off as a written site. It's actually a lot of us had written for really focused fan site type stuff. Like we did a lot of coverage of adventure games
Like
and some
Planet
stuff
Quake
like that.
and stuff like that, or
It was mostly adventure game related stuff, and then we realized that we had all become completely sick of adventure games at the time, and now Sean and I make them. But whatever.
Cool.
And Chris also is working on one. Weird
Wait.
that that happened. Okay. But-
wow.
But yeah,
it's like it's 1994 all over again.
It is. But yeah, at the time we had said enough about that. Maybe we should talk about every video game. And then that fell apart. And then Chris and I and Nick Brecken, who was writing for Shack News at the time, wanted to make a podcast. And we said, oh, we have this site that has a name that hasn't had any content on it for 2 years. Let's do a podcast. And now...
Perfect. And this was in the early days of podcasting too, right?
No.
I mean, or no?
It was in 2008. I'm not sure where
Okay.
that falls. on
That's
the
not that early.
history of the
No.
podcast.
No.
Sorry, take that back.
It's not. It's not.
Well,
Although I do,
okay.
I mean, it's true that the history of podcasting kind of reset itself when we started doing it.
that was a real turning point in
Yeah,
the medium.
Yeah.
So technically, yes, I would say we began the infancy of the current epoch of podcasting.
So fast forward. Here's the.
I'm just going to play this
So
completely
basically-
straight. I'm not going to.
So basically, it was Adam, the VJ, Adam.
Corolla.
No, the other one. Adam, the tall blonde guy with lustrous manes of hair.
What?
The guy who invented podcasting.
Oh, Adam Cast.
Adam Cass, the Castinator.
Adam P. Cast.
Adam P.
Oh, what
Cast.
the hell's his name? It doesn't matter. Anyway,
So I
think
want
we figured
to
it out.
fast forward to the
Adam
most,
Cast
the most recent
podiatrist.
chapter.
Adam Curry.
You guys
Curry.
decided to
Some
bring
correct
Idle
answer.
Thumbs back, and you did it via a Kickstarter, which I
Yep.
think is very interesting. I want to hear about that process of why Kickstarter. Why did you need? How do you decide that you want to do it via Kickstarter? What's that process been like? Because you actually had a very successful Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
We had an overly
At-
successful Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think actually at the time that the Kickstarter concluded, we were like the third most successful video game Kickstarter.
Now, are you tempted
Which
at
is
some
kind of
point to just
insane.
go to
Yeah,
Vegas, like, and just
What do you
not
mean?
do the podcast? Because you have
Anytime
so
money's
much
involved.
money.
What are you talking about?
Gary.
What are you talking about? We can show you the money right now.
We have to keep reassuring people that the money we're raising in no way goes near our bank accounts because people are very suspicious.
Goes straight
God.
to the charity.
It
Well,
is.
that's
It's
it all.
Except when
It is
does.
tragic how far away that money has stayed from our bank account.
Yeah. You guys actually
It's
failed by not
distressing.
hanging the obligatory Kangaroo Jack poster behind you during this event.
Why would I hang a Kangaroo Jack poster
Because-
behind me during
Well,
the
the
event?
slogan, as we all know, of
To
the film
Kangaroo Jack, the film,
is
yeah.
he stole the money and he's not giving it back.
Oh, I thought. Well,
That's-
see, our slogan is if we can't do quality, at least we have quantity. So you know,
yeah.
That's
there you
also
go.
but
It's
then
not really
the
even
second
an if.
slogan in smaller writing should say he stole the money and he's not giving it.
Okay, I can see
That's
that.
just
Kangaroo
the fine
Jack
print.
is my third favorite Australia-related movie.
What was your
After
what was your
Crocodile
target?
Dundee
We've
2
never
and
seen it.
Crocodile
What was your
Dundee
cash
1.
target?
The
for
cash
Kickstarter?
target, I think,
like, how
was
much
we
did you
said
need?
$30,000.
30,000, and the idea was we felt like we could rent a space to record the podcast and pay for hosting for enough
About
time,
2 years.
about 2 years, and then also take half of our Kickstarter take and just put it straight into rewards. We felt like that was fair.
Now, did you do a lot of research on the economics of how Kickstarter? Because I know oftentimes a lot of these Kickstarters fail because they give away very lavish rewards and don't realize that they can actually end up screwing themselves. Like, did you figure all that stuff out?
We did, but we did a very bad job of it. And had we not done as well as we did, we probably would have been in a pickle.
Yeah, we would have
But,
been in the hole
yeah.
had we actually raised the amount we asked for. We would have had to spend at least the full amount and potentially more to actually.
So how much more than you asked for did you raise?
$100,000.
$110,000 more. Yeah.
Wow.
So then, how do you figure out what to do with all the excess money? Do you just rent like gold
You
plated
had stretch
microphones,
rewards
or-
and stuff like
Yeah,
that, right?
one
No,
point is we raised a lot more money, but also we were expecting a couple hundred backers maybe, and we ended up with 2,600 or what?
Yeah.
Around 2,500.
Or 2,500.
Yeah, so I mean,
So
the amount we had to spend to fulfill that increased proportionally. So
yeah, we've donated a human salary to just fulfilling our Kickstarter rewards.
Right.
Yeah.
What
but
kind of rewards did you come up with?
this lovely
Oh,
gold
I do like
t-shirt.
the gold laminated
That's
t-shirt.
Kickstarter
Yeah.
exclusive, I
this was a
assume.
Yeah,
high,
that
this,
is a-
this,
okay.
this one is
Yeah.
there's a high.
Yeah, the limited
high
edition
level.
gold foil
I got
wizard's
the
tunic.
cheap one, it
Oh,
turned out.
nice.
I know.
You're wearing it
Interesting.
underneath your tux.
I
We know.
actually, I would have been clever if
Yeah.
I'd done that, but
Yeah.
You just ripped off.
shows
the
through my
wire.
wire.
Goodness. That would have been,
That would have been
incredible.
magnificent.
Our friend Graham Annable, who was an art director at Telltale for a while, and now he's a story artist up at Leica. Like he did storyboarding on Coraline and Paranormal. He
awesome.
also was the artist who did the art for the Puzzle Agent games we did at Telltale. He did a series of prints about a shitty wizard. Our friend Vincent, who works at Disney and did the art on the Where's My Water iOS game, did us a print.
He also did the Misadventures of PB.
He also did the
Winterbottom.
game The Misadventures of PB
Oh,
Winterbottom.
he did the space asshole print. I just realized both of the names of our prints involve butts or buttholes. That never occurred to me until
may be
just
something
now.
to
Yeah,
that.
We had
that's
the
true.
shitty wizard and the space
There's
asshole.
two things this says. One is that you
We're
know,
terrible.
I know.
Yeah, it's really
That
bad.
never occurred to
No,
me.
I
until
felt
just now.
I felt really bad because I wanted to tell my mom about the Kickstarter, and then I was like, "Mom, you should donate. Don't donate
Don't read the
$200.
page.
Don't look at it because one thing says shitty wizard and one of them says space asshole.
I think that Space Asshole is worse than Shitty Wizard.
Space asshole is not actually about an asshole in space.
No, I realize it's about a person who is an asshole that happens to be in space, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Is that
A
right?
jerk,
Okay.
right?
It's about it's
about a real
called
cad.
Space Jerk.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the Shitty Wizard is not about a wizard covered in feces. It's
Also-
about a wizard.
It's called
correct?
Exactly,
correct.
yes.
Yeah.
The
You
other
could do
names-
a feces covered wizard bit though.
No. What?
Maybe not.
There's got to be a wizard of the sewers, like a wizard who's the waste management wizard, right? Everybody has there's a job for everybody in the wizarding
Clearly there
world.
must be.
That's
Yeah.
when he really. That's when he really falls off.
I think that he could, as long as he's called the waste management wizard, that's fine. then.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's-
We're cleaning up. We're cleaning this up.
Excellent.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
But we also we kind of funded a small little game,
Yeah, we
which was
funded a
really
mini
cool.
game.
Our buddy Brendan Chung, who owns Blendo Games, and he did Adam Zombie Smasher and
Gravity Bone, Flotilla, all really great games if you haven't played them.
Air Forte.
Available on Steam and iOS. I think,
Yeah,
right?
they're
Or
Some
just
are.
Just Steam in most cases.
Okay.
Is it or not? Does he have any iOS games?
no.
No.
Oh.
Although Adam Zombie Smasher would be awesome on iOS.
Yes.
But he did a game for us called 30 Flights of Loving, which is kind of a spiritual successor to Gravity Bone, and it's like it's one of my,
really
it's probably
cool.
my
So
favorite
you
game
decided
this
to
year.
just add that
I don't know,
on
I
with the
love it.
excess Kickstarter funds that you
No,
had raised?
we actually we made a deal.
We made a
with-
mistake, is what we
We
did.
made
But
we
go
made,
ahead.
we made a mistake and a deal. I mean, it was basically us saying we don't know if having an indie game attached to our Kickstarter will help us in any way, but it might. But also, we have an excuse to get a small game made by a guy that we think is cool. So we told Brendan that for everyone who backed over a certain amount, he would just get the cost of the game from them or from the Kickstarter take.
Yeah.
So
he essentially got a royalty.
Yeah,
on our
Yeah.
we
Kickstarter.
basically he did it like on consignment almost. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like a layaway game development plan.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We basically
Okay.
said we think we can sell X many of this.
Well, we basically
and
said,
if not, we'll be on the hook for whatever it costs to make it.
Yeah, we said I think
Ended up
if
being
we
fine,
make
but-
our minimum goal, that means you're probably going to get about this much, and it worked out really well for him.
Yeah, it was great.
But also it worked out well for us because we got a sweet game.
Yeah, I mean that game is
It's something that wouldn't have existed otherwise.
Exactly.
That's
that
really
was
cool.
what was exciting about it.
The thing that we did do with our Kickstarter campaign that I don't know if a lot of other ones do is we actually focus tested it, and that's a thing that I do think is actual Kickstarter advice that people should totally take.
How did you focus test a Kickstarter?
When you've got your Kickstarter in process, when you're developing it, when you're putting the page together, Kickstarter gives you like it's a URL with a big hash at the end, but it's not password protected or anything. There's a preview link, so we went on basically any forum that we knew of that had people who had ever talked about Idle Thumbs and found the regular posters there. We looked for the people who had sent us a lot of @replies on Twitter. We looked for people who had written into our questions account a lot, and we basically said, you guys are now in the Idle Thumbs cabal. Please look at this thing that we're doing.
Like, keep it secret.
Yeah, don't tell anyone about it, but not in terms of like, oh, I like this, but just tell us, if you saw this right now and we surprised you with it by actually launching it, how much money would you give us? And then everyone gave us feedback and why, and then we said, okay, and we rearranged our tiers a lot over the course of this. We actually spent a lot of time changing the dollar amounts, changing the rewards, changing how we presented our photos, and we ended up going through probably like 5 or 6 revs of the thing.
Did
And
they see the video too? Did you guys do a video?
We
That was
did a
actually-
video.
that was-
Oh god,
That was actually
That
well,
video was the
we
most
called it Trail
nightmarish.
of Tears.
that was actually before we did the video though.
Yeah, it was before the video was the
Okay.
last thing we did.
What did
The
you find that
video-
people responded more to in terms of the rewards?
The t-shirts.
The $50
T-shirt,
T-shirts.
$50.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the sweet spot.
That tier.
We
Nerds-
paid for
nerds
the
love
entire
t-shirts.
thing. We could have just done one
If
tier.
we had just had $50
$50
T-shirt, we would have
our
made
goal.
our goal.
So was what
Yeah.
people, the response that you got from people saying, well, this is what we'll respond to, was it way different from what you would have done just
Oh,
if
yeah.
you hadn't
Yeah,
had that
Yeah.
exposure?
The Kickstarter changed a lot after we did the
It's
focus
actually-
testing stuff. It was really,
It was energizing.
it made us,
Yeah.
It turns out
Yeah.
though that we actually only needed one focus tester, which is our web developer
Yeah.
Doug,
Yeah.
who I'm sure you know of because he's Doug from
Doug
The Walking
Tobacco,
Dead.
right?
Yes.
Who's,
Oh, is he
who's
Doug from the
in
game?
The Walking Dead?
Yeah, Doug from the game.
No.
A story we've told. of
Doug
that.
from The Walking Dead is in fact Doug, the webmaster of Idle Thumbs.
He's one of the very few characters in The Walking Dead that's based on a real person.
Yeah, he had to
So-
sign a release.
But yeah,
So
He's
this
a
is
real
a
guy.
spoiler, but he's the one that everybody killed in the first episode, right?
yes.
Not everybody.
I think you
excuse
mean
me.
81% of
Is it,
players.
is it up to
killed?
81 now? Okay.
Something like 78 or 81. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we showed the Kickstarter to
Save
Doug,
Doug.
and
Poor
because
Doug.
he's our backend developer for Idle Thumbs as well. And the first thing he said was, "You should have a $50 tier, and why doesn't it have the T-shirt?" And we're like, "No, please." Oh, okay, everyone agrees with that.
Nobody
so
will spend $50 for a
yeah.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you because Kickstarter it's still in a very interesting place where some people have had huge successes, where other people have had huge failures, and there's all these Kickstarter survival guides out there people trying to figure out the difference between a successful Kickstarter and one that flops. So I was going to ask you, like, what have you learned? What advice would you give? But it seems like one of the big things is
Okay.
try and do some kind of
Yeah.
dry run focus test before
Yeah.
you launch.
The
And
big-
then also, I
the
mean,
big- oh.
it's hard to like look at the Idle Thumbs one as like some sort of like model because I think we were a product of really good timing.
Yeah, I think the best advice you can give
And-
someone is launch 2 days after the Double Fine Kickstarter launches.
Well, and have a really big built-in audience.
Yeah, I mean
helps
that's
too.
one
Oh,
thing.
so
The
you
built-in
just
audience.
fortuitous in that you ended up catching that wave of that massive Double Fine thing that happened?
I mean, we have a theory that basically, like,
We think
when
we
the,
got
the
the-
Double Fine one went up, we all looked at each other and went, "We're gonna look like dicks. Like, we're gonna look like oh, by the way, guys, we'd like some money too."
We like video. We're video games.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we'd been planning this thing for like
since
six
October,
months
and we
now.
launched it
was-
in March.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you actually felt like it could work against you, like people would think
We
you
thought
were
it
just
would.
glommed
We thought people
onto
were
it.
gonna think
we thought
very
people would
tall.
be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what, you just threw this shit together because
Right.
the Double Fine one?" And I'm like, "No, this takes so much work." But it turns out that what actually happened is Double Fine got like thousands
there
and
was a halo
thousands and
effect,
thousands
right,
of
from
new
Double
people
Fine.
signed up to Kickstarter, and then they're
Right.
like, "Oh, I liked that experience. Who else can I just give money at to feel good about myself?"
If you liked this, you might also like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
$50
like Ron Gilbert tweeted about it, so because he liked Idle Thumbs, which was cool. So we had a lot of things going for us, but yeah, the built-in audience is huge. Like especially for something that is audience driven.
Yeah.
You know, I think like there are a lot of people who do like art projects and there are things like that, and there's you know just actual
it's
Like
products.
industrial design products.
Yeah,
like,
and you
like
can look at
gadgets
it and go, "Oh, that's
yeah.
something I want." But
If you-
how do you know you want Idle Thumbs? Like you shouldn't look at that and think that's something
right.
you
It's,
want.
you have to before you put your Kickstarter up, know like 5 places you can go online where someone is guaranteed to talk about it if you go there and tell them about it, or even like
Yeah.
ideally a place where you wouldn't have to tell someone about it because someone would find it through
They'll
Twitter.
find it
But it's just like
themselves,
if there's a place that has an existing audience that you can get excited about it, who will then go off and tell wherever the hell else they talk on the internet about it. if you don't know who it's for, you're kind of screwed. I think.
One of the things, talking to the folks at Kickstarter and some of the people who've had really successful Kickstarters, is they said the video is super duper important. You guys said you left that until the very end.
We actually didn't leave until the end.
Not
We shot it 3
intentionally.
times.
Yeah.
Okay.
We knew it was important. so
Turns
we
out
made
we're
3 of
bad
them.
at shooting
Yes.
videos. We learned that.
But you
making a
have to
Kickstarter.
have a video presentation component of a Kickstarter, right? You can't not have that.
Oh, you can put a
You
picture at the top.
technically don't
but-
have to, but they really very strongly
But I'm
recommend.
saying, like, you probably would not be successful if you don't have that
Probably
component.
not, unless you have something really crazy, to make up for it.
Yeah, they explicitly told me that the number of successful Kickstarters without videos is like
Minuscule,
this
yeah.
much of a stack that high.
And then how do you make a video pitch for a podcast?
For an audio podcast, to be clear.
I don't even remember what our video was. That's
Remember,
how
it was your
that's how
intercut between
stressful.
the 3 of us?
It was you sitting at a computer with the website up on it, and then
yeah.
the text
Oh, we
kept
should-
changing to be other things. It was Sean just being a weirdo in his bedroom.
It was really
And
just
me in a suit
introducing
drinking.
ourselves as a person.
Yeah.
It was introducing ourselves as personalities and saying, this is why we've been really passionate about this thing. If you are an audience member, I mean, if you're already a reader, great. But if you're not, check it out and then come back to us. But we actually shot an original one. Remember the first video we shot, which had like
Oh,
a
God.
1.5 minute
Yeah.
preamble story
This was crazy.
of us like going through San Francisco, going to Chris's like a car that was in storage and cracking open the trunk like Pulp Fiction
Yeah,
and
pulling out
finding
the
the
mixing board and
microphone, the mixing
Finding
board
out,
and the
like, old
microphones,
microphones and stuff.
and being like, we're getting the
What
band
was the
back
thing
together.
you did that I
We threw
thought
out,
was
though.
really cool, but I don't know what if this was part of Kickstarter or what, but it looked like it was like a print ad from like a 1960s magazine.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
That was how we
was
announced.
fun.
We announced the Kickstarter by doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
We took a photograph of us all dressed up to the nines.
It was very
and,
Mad Men, which I
yeah.
loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys living in a ridiculous early century apartment with wood paneled walls, and they have a Chesterfield and just all this hilarious vintage accoutrement. So we all just sat there and took a photograph of it.
We
and
wanted it to look
composited.
like an ad that you would see like in Playboy in 1978 or something
Right.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, those were the best.
as,
Yeah,
if, as if
exactly.
it were. Yeah, we composited it on the magazine, like a 2-page magazine spread, and then wrote.
Oh
this
shit!
I wrote this extensive article for the
Yeah, it's
facing
actually-
page of the spread.
It's
with,
an ad that's in a hypothetical issue of the New Yorker from like 1982 or something
Right.
like that.
It's
Yeah.
a concept ad.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's the ad, but then the facing page has an article that Chris wrote.
What was it about?
Is it the whole article, or is it
About-
just
No,
the
you can-
middle?
It's the
Like,
amount you can see without.
Oh,
that isn't
that's
crossed
It's
fantastic.
a
off the
very
page, and
convincing,
it's-
like fake
the thing
artifact of
is-
that period.
Everyone should read the
That was very
article though.
cool.
You should go to idlethumbs.net/magazine, and you should read this story about Jeff Goldblum being found drunk on the rooftop pool of the Chase Manhattan building in New York after crashing an educators conference and demanding that he
Yeah.
be referred to as the superintendent.
that makes perfect sense.
If you read the article though, you can actually cross-reference any fact in there, and they're all legit.
They're all-
Because-
they're all
because
correct.
Chris-
except for Goldblum being present.
Goldblum was like the weird like rogue element in this, but like there's-
research I did for that article included when the National Union of Educators or whatever met in New York that year, the address of the Chase Manhattan Bank that year,
Number
what
of floors.
operating system the Chase Manhattan Bank used.
Oh, for their-
at the
like, for
time,
their mainframe and
for their-
mini-computer
for their
system? Yeah.
mainframe system. How many floors the building was.
Oh, and you found the name of the
I
press
found the
contact.
name of the the like chairwoman of this conference, and like whose name appears like once as far as I can tell
Now
on the entire internet.
you're just indulging yourself at this point, right?
I am.
This is not actually going to do anything for you to move the needle
just-
on your Kickstarter.
Oh no,
applications, but-
no.
We-
This is just
we got
this
really-
is entirely self-indulgent.
What's funny is so he embedded this insane Goldblum story in this magazine, and then nobody mentioned it.
nobody mentioned it at all.
but it's a Dennis Miller ratio, right? I mean, that 1% of people get the joke, and that 1% of person gets the joke.
That's sort of like the mantra of
Unfortunately,
Idle Thumbs.
Yeah,
The thing we realized that no one had responded to the magazine ad, so our theory then was that we should
Double down.
double down.
you put it in a real magazine.
Well, no. Oh man,
We almost
should.
did that.
The magazine ads are cheap these days, guys.
we
You
actually
can make that happen.
we actually researched the cost of a full-page color ad in a number of different publications, just in case the Kickstarter, did really well.
For people who backed our Kickstarter, their version of 30 Flights of Loving of the indie game has a special mode in it that you can enable that's just in the Kickstarter version of the data pack, where it turns every character in the game into Jeff Goldblum. And
the original trailer for this game.
elegant.
so we
elegant.
The Telltale Games did a Back to the Future game, and the guy who played Marty McFly in it did a really perfect Michael J. Fox impression. So we all thought maybe he can do a really good Jeff Goldblum impression. So
And can he?
he does a fantastic one, but we asked him to just make the sounds that Jeff Goldblum makes when he's not actually saying a word. So it's just like, it's like his creepy laugh in the helicopter in Jurassic Park when like the seatbelt doesn't work and he's like, so it's just this game full of like, you're in a crowded airport filled with just like hundreds and hundreds of Jeff Goldblums going, there's also nonsense filler words where he just goes, exuberant. But
It's a nightmarish horror.
yeah,
It's
it's the
amazing.
best goddamn thing.
It's awesome.
So
It's so
the
good.
trailer for this, we had the main trailer for the game, and then it cuts to black, and you hear thunder, and it sort of goes and glitches out, and you see the screen of a 70s computer, which is actually, and it says CM Bank mainframe, and this is a screen of the actual like operating system that Chase Manhattan was running at the time, and also you found on LinkedIn.
You guys are very big on attention to detail.
This is amazing.
On LinkedIn, we actually found the guy who installed
We found their
the
sysop.
sysop who installed the operating system on the Chase Manhattan Bank mainframe
So-
in
so you-
1971.
So inside of this
Yeah.
trailer, you're just seeing the screen of this, and you hear typing, and like the guy spoofs the login of Chase Manhattan Bank's sysop from when the late 70s, and you start hearing Goldblum chuckling. And then a few terminal commands run, which is like merge all Goldblum, execute its big bloom or something, and then you hear this like you hear him go and the lightning flashes, and then you see reflected in the monitor the drawing of Goldblum from the game hacking the computer, and then it just says if you back the Kickstarter you get Goldblum mode active where everyone is replaced. But like there's all this continuity.
Meanwhile, we had real jobs.
yeah, also, no one noticed any of this stuff, but it was really enjoyable.
But I mean, this is the kind of stuff because you were doing it for
So
yourself.
if you're doing a
Yeah.
Kickstarter,
Yeah.
make sure that you do all that.
Make sure you
stuff.
invent a fictional continuity
yes.
starring Jeff Goldblum in the 70s.
whole
That's
alternate
key.
universe.
Easter egg Jeff Goldblum
key.
content. See, this is
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
don't read in the Kickstarter survival
So
guide.
it's really
Exactly,
important
yeah.
to make a completely ignorable ARG. That's a very important aspect of the entire process.
Which is your favorite Goldblum?
Our favorite
How can we
Goldblum, our
choose?
favorite
Your
like era of Goldblum.
Of all
My
the Goldblums,
favorite
I mean, you start with say the Fly, or character
Yeah.
actor Goldblum.
I do
My-
They
like.
come through
favorite-
Apple ads, probably.
Mine is
right?
definitely the like latter era talk show appearance.
Like post Apple
just-
ad Goldblum,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
Oh,
where
really?
he just
Apple ad.
where he only seems to
period was
exist.
good.
Yeah, that kind of got its start in the Apple ad
I feel like
period. and
Jurassic Park Goldblum, Apple ad Goldblum, and then beyond. Like JP Goldblum.
Was Apple ad before or after Independence Day? It was after,
it's
right?
like right around the same time, right?
Well, it was when the first
It was
IMAX
after.
came out, so it
Yeah,
was that
It was after because
Okay.
Independence Day was
99.
Independence Day was like
No.
97.
I just
or 8.
remember. I just remember him
7.
saying, "There's no step 3.
Yep.
Plug it in, get connected. Step 3. There's no
Yeah.
step 3."
I remember that you can finance an iMac for the cost of 3 pizzas or something.
I don't
I
remember.
also
that.
This is
Yeah,
real
you're
information.
the creator of.
I heard the
great
great
stuff.
stuff.
Great
You're
stuff.
the director.
Anyway,
I don't even
What
know
drunk
what's happening
Goldblum?
now.
that was one of the original internet memes. You guys don't remember that?
Drunk Goldblum.
Some guy-
one
some
of the
guy-
I remember the
original
hamster
internet-
dance and
Wasn't
then
it?
everything.
Wasn't
from
it?
there.
Wasn't what that one of the original like
I don't know.
things on the internet that everyone knew?
Day Zero meme.
Where like they had the Jeff Goldblum Apple ads, and then some guy
They
slowed them down to 50%,
but didn't pitch
so it's,
shift it.
right. So just Jeff, everything was just. You're the creator of great stuff. Like, it was just really
That
good.
I do not recall.
Oh man,
No, but now
classic
There were
internet.
silos of memes
Well,
though back then.
the thing that's the best about the drunk Goldblum thing is that now, have you seen the new PayPal ads that are just basically?
Yes,
the
and now
Apple
he's
ads?
shilling for PayPal.
It's the
right?
exact
Oh,
same thing.
that's
It's
filthy.
it's just
The Apple
Goldblum being
ads,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, I get out my credit card," but then like people immediately are like, "Boom, drunk Goldblum PayPal ads." They just showed up like immediately.
To
and
like 2 seconds.
It's just the thing. I was excited because PayPal just funded
I remember
a new batch
when
of
it's
drunk
that obvious,
Goldblum.
that's just something that like YouTube just automatically generates that
Yep,
video.
they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
just
There's
happened.
actually a button in the back end of
Yeah.
YouTube.
People
which
don't even
is
need to
Drunk
be
Goldblum
involved.
the
enabled.
content ID matches Goldblum, and then they just like
Yeah,
the robot does it.
Goldblum.
I gotta
They
say, I
shoot
was
a sort
not
of white
disappointed to
background.
see Jeff doing those. I was like, really, Jeff? PayPal?
Well, I mean,
I
what
guess-
is that
Shatner
a
did
TV show?
Priceline, everything was off.
He's off Priceline.
No,
They're
come on.
back.
Priceline
Priceline
Negotiator
now.
is a cool guy.
It wasn't always the Priceline Negotiator, though.
Who, Shatner?
No. The Priceline Negotiator evolved over years.
I know. I'm saying
You used to jump out of
I'm
cakes
saying
and
I
be
don't.
like,
I don't
hey.
hold that against Shatner. I feel like that's actually one of his more memorable roles.
Right up there with TJ Hooker.
Because he starts because that role evolves. He ends up playing his own evil twin in those commercials.
These
I mean,
are
that's
very
range.
familiar chairs.
There's some range involved.
You guys-
there.
do we have to say, are we twinsy
Oh, man.
chairs?
These
No,
are
no,
the,
these are
we
Adult
have
Thumbs
the,
chairs.
we have
We
the
have the
white
white
variant
versions
of
of
these
these.
in the Adult Thumbs
We
office.
have the white versions
They're
in the LA
terrible
office.
chairs.
Do you have the real ones, or do you have the
We have an
fake
LA
knockoff
off.
ones?
We have probably whatever the knockoff ones are. They look exactly like this, though.
Yeah, we got the knockoff ones.
Where'd you
They
get
were way cheaper.
Yeah.
We
I don't
probably got
remember
whatever
the-
ones you got.
Yeah, I have the packing list over there.
We got them over on,
pretty relatively.
we got
So-
them like 3 blocks from here. yeah.
How
Got a
long
guy in
is-
the back of a truck.
Like HD
No,
Rubber
it says
Cup
you-
or whatever
no,
that
we got
place
them
is called.
Yeah, that's
Funky
it.
furniture.
Funky Furniture
Funky
SF
Furniture,
for all your
really?
knockout
Yeah.
furniture needs.
Wow.
How long has the new regime of idle thumbs been going now?
like to call it
since
regimes.
Kickstarter brought it back. Like, what's the new era? How long
When
has
did
it
we
been
come
going
back?
again now?
I think our actual
70?
relaunch was like August or something. Episode 70. I
Yeah,
think,
we
was our
well, the
first
thing is, it took us a long time because we built an entirely new website from
Yeah.
like nothing up.
idlethumbs.net.
Yeah,
Front
but it's
page? Or you guys use it from page 97 or 98?
Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver
Nice.
pretty much. Yeah, it's
Nice.
good.
You can do
It's really
CSS
good.
with that, I hear. That's the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. It does
HTML 3.2.
It has DHTML content.
Yeah. Real stuff.
You can make that drop down.
Yeah. You don't have to use tables. You can sometimes use a div or a span, I
Or
think.
you can use tables, but then have CSS just.
You can style your tables with CSS. Madness.
My first job, which is a weird first job to have, was making websites for wineries in high school.
Wow.
And I remember that when Dreamweaver showed up, it got enough press that people who ran wineries and thought they knew what websites were like, you will use Dreamweaver and you will make me a drop-down menu that dynamically appears. And I was really sad.
I want the background to be able to change from tan to dark green
That's
dynamically.
You can do
With a
that.
drop
Well,
down.
so given that you raised more on Kickstarter than you expected, were you able to kind of splash out and do anything in terms of the technical setup, the equipment that otherwise you might not have done?
Yeah.
Like, is there?
Yeah,
I mean,
we got
the
that
biggest-
stuff. We got the iMac.
Yeah, we got a
so you got an iMac.
We got nice computers. We got a PC and a Mac for the office, and they battle when we're not there. But the best thing about having the money was just that it gave us some breathing
Oh, the best
room.
thing about having the money was that we didn't give it back.
was
Yeah,
that we didn't
yeah,
give it back. You
that's
take the
true.
money, you don't give it back.
That's step
rule
one
number
of a good
But,
Kickstarter, yeah.
But it wasn't that we had a big specific plan of things we wanted to go out and get. It was that once we started getting the office set up and thought, oh, it would be really great if we had like this particular FireWire audio interface that does this and this, we had the breathing room to
And then you
just
can also
oh,
say,
just buy it.
It would be really fantastic if we then bought a one-rack underdesk mount for this. Like,
Ah, they make those? That's a real thing?
yeah,
Yeah, we got one the other
yeah,
day.
Super
this
cool.
could be drilled in underneath that
Yeah.
table.
You mean it doesn't have to be sitting on the top looking all like cables everywhere and
Yeah,
everything?
we just got that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jake is obsessed with cable management.
Let me tell you, cable management.
Obsessed. But it's also a wonderful thing to have when you're in an office with a small office with 2 other people. Having one guy who's obsessed with cable management, it's great. It's really good.
It means that your cables are managed.
You
Super
guys have padding
managed.
for the walls?
Mega man. Yeah, we have padding. We have
Wow.
baffling. It's baffled.
So you didn't just take old egg crates and tack them up on the wall?
Oh
with
no,
a tack
we-
hammer?
we spent
Legit.
real dollars.
Wow.
We spent too much money on black foam things that look like egg crates but are different.
Yeah.
We should get that stuff
Interesting.
too.
Yeah.
And then we
We actually have these pictures.
Oh, really?
These?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
four.
these.
These
exact
They're
ones.
really
Yeah.
good. They're good
Oh.
sound baffling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we found
Those
that
creepy
making ourselves
tin-type
look like
photos have amazing acoustic
1880s gold
properties.
miners
Yeah.
was the way to really
Yeah.
sell the fact that we're on the internet.
Yeah. Well, and to
strong.
dampen that sound.
And also, we've collected things from our travels,
Yeah.
and we've bought some Lego.
Travels to the Lego store.
Why
and-
don't you have a statue in that?
We did. Will hates
It's
that
off camera, and I hate that hole. when
If you look at this room, there are numerous
those.
holes.
Why are there holes?
That one's not a hole.
I'll tell you why
I don't
they're
know
not
what that
holes.
is. What
Well,
is
no,
that?
hold
I
on.
don't know.
If you place statues in those 2 holes, that reveals a third statue. Clearly,
Right.
Yeah, that
That
door goes
slide-
out.
Oh, it's an adventure
slides
game.
open.
It's
You
an
can see-
office.
you can see the
Or
advent- you
Zelda.
can see the adventure game designer's mind at work here.
Well, I mean, that's just natural.
So when we moved in, the landlord was like, "Hey, I can, those windows they're not up to code, but if you want, I can knock the plywood out, and you can just have windows there." And we're like, "No, we want it as dark as possible. Cover up the skylights, put the light holes away." And we like this room because it's far away from the street and as dark as possible in an upstairs. And because we've always worked in basements before, so this is a real step up.
If you'd have been
for
here
us.
last year,
Yeah.
trust me, this is a step up. It may not seem like it.
Well, we had a full bar in
this
the
is
old
wonderful.
office.
No,
which
it's
was
good.
kinda
Great.
nice.
we were
Oh
on
no,
there.
we
yeah,
spent
yeah,
some
you've
time
been there,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, the old office. Yeah.
But yeah, the upstairs, it's much nicer. There's no mold. We're not constantly getting cold.
Do you have a live chat going? Are people?
We do have a live
absolutely.
chat.
This
We
bullshit?
do.
No, there's
People
a
are watching
few
and
hundred
chatting
Both
people
on
there.
YouTube and on the site.
And the YouTube
Wow.
we have stuff too. I haven't seen.
Oh,
There's a lot of
terrifying.
people watching over there.
Good.
Yeah.
Is that a rating? What is good?
Oh, we're good.
means our stream health is good.
Oh,
that
I
means
thought that meant that the content.
That'd be awesome if
No,
YouTube had
Trust
like
me, that does not
three.
apply to
hold on,
does
that's
not apply to the content at all.
Yeah.
I thought that's what that was.
Why don't you? Yeah, you guys don't
So
have like the
sad.
real-time CNN like
It's a real good
trigger,
positive,
just
positive
like
enforcement.
Yeah,
This
there's
is we're gonna get Will
in
I
Tucson,
You know how like they have like you know how they have like the dial groups during presidential debates?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
how
that's
people
what you're
respond.
saying, yeah.
They should
Yeah.
totally have that.
That's
Where's
a
the-
terrible idea.
Where's the undecided tested.com readers?
should
Oh,
totally
they're in
have
Santa
that.
Fe, New Mexico, with a little
You guys
dialer
are
in their
testing.
hands.
You
as
should
they're
be just
watching.
testing everything.
We
We
should
test
constantly
everything all the time. We have a
testing.
Surface here. Wait,
We do have a Microsoft Surface.
Ooh,
That's,
really?
there's something to be said for
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
Can I? Okay, wait a minute now.
Yes.
So the thing that we should actually test is whether or not we can do crazy dance moves and then meet this in the middle, right?
Is this an ad?
What?
I haven't seen the commercials
That's
yet.
actually that's acceptably danceable. I
Okay.
think.
It snaps,
It snaps on pretty. It's very snappy.
but it doesn't hold closed. This is the thing that surprised me.
Yeah, there's no mag.
It just flaps.
But the kickstand's very durable.
It's only for
there-
Kickstarter
and
backers.
Is
it
there
generally
a
has kind of a
patent
good
on that or
feel to
something?
it.
Huh?
Is there a
Probably an
patent
Apple
on
patent
the-
on
How
that,
can you
if I
have a
had to
patent
guess.
on putting a magnet in a thing? Patents are dumb.
Well, like, I mean, they can, have,
Ladies and
they
gentlemen.
can have the magnetic hinge.
It should have
just
a
not the
band.
magnetic cover.
You know, like a rubber strap that you can like a moleskin. You know, like
Oh, that's
a
not a bad idea.
cop-out.
That's good.
no,
But
no.
then
Or-
you know,
or you could put a binder
you
clip
can't
on
have
it.
that because then you'd have a thing
Well,
on
there
the
you go.
bottom
You
of
broke the
this.
surface, Jake.
What's your
Thanks.
first impression of that? Hands on.
This is hard hitting.
This
Hard
is actually
hitting.
really interesting that Jake is the first one touching
Yeah.
it.
It's very nice. I don't know. I mean, the commercial made it look like it was easier to make that stupid thing come out of the base. How do you make the
But
No
you
one's
want,
figured
you want the
that out yet.
kickstand.
How do you make the kickstand pop out?
Well,
It's
no,
on the
it's not
left
as-
side. It's
you
on the
have
left
to put
side.
statues in each of the
Don't you
holes.
think you should just be able to push it in and it would click back out? It doesn't. It's not.
I just
as
sort of
simple as
want to
that.
like push
on the,
down.
On the
Yeah,
left,
that's
on
what
the
I
left-
wanna
on the
do.
left side.
If you want to know the hardest thing of
Pop it
it
out.
took me 20 minutes to figure out where to put the memory
There you
card
go.
in. I had to look it up on the internet. There's a power button on the
But
top.
it's sleeping. It doesn't sleep when you wake when you press a
I
keyboard.
know.
There's no
Oh.
magnets in that.
We've
No
just had it for
magnets in
4
the front.
hours.
How do
You
I
and
wait?
Chris just looked like chimpanzees.
This is
You know,
it's like opening
this
scenes of
is like
2001.
the
Yeah.
2001
Wait,
monolith.
guys, what is a computer?
Oh,
Wait,
well,
not-
it's
that's
a-
Look
not
at
a
this.
computer.
Look.
There you go.
Oh, not this.
Ooh.
That's it.
Oh, it's
There's
for
a
a company
button.
that's Seattle-based, so it has a Space Needle.
They can't see what you're talking about.
You know, it's unfortunate, really. You have to touch the screen, and I think there you go.
What?
My
Oh,
password is
I just
the
need your
same
pin.
as my
It's
luggage
fine.
key. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
I didn't.
You have to use the on-screen keyboard, I think, for
What?
security. I don't know. I haven't asked about that yet. I sent a long list of questions after about 4 hours of using this.
Oh, I'm logged
What
in.
were your impressions?
I think the hardware is really nice. It's
Oh, wait, what?
I think it gives a very good first impression. It
Yeah.
seems like a really slick piece of hardware, but
It's weird that it's a
hit
desktop
the,
operating
hit the
system,
start
kind of.
button on this either
Wait,
on the
there's a
center
start
of the
button.
screen.
I thought
yeah.
they were taking away the start
if
button.
I
I was thinking with
worked
start menu.
Maybe the keyboard's not plugged in.
if
so it
I
doesn't
worked for
seem to be
Microsoft
working.
Surface, watching Jake fumble around with it, I'd be having a heart attack right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If you spent the past 9 years of
worst
your life
case
developing this
scenario.
thing,
This thing- okay.
yeah, that
Trying to
guy-
make this
You
thing
know
as
what?
intuitive as
We'll
possible,
just-
and then
God.
watching
Oh,
this
no.
unfold.
I don't know who the Jonathan Ive of Microsoft is, but he's hanging in his closet right now.
Well, this
didn't
has
he
been
just-
discussed.
right,
It
it was-
clearly was Jay Allard.
Oh, of course.
Mastermind Jay Allard.
You gotta wear
Well,
a
I might be
hoodie, though.
clipping. Just so you know, I don't know if you.
Are you clipping?
That
I
is
think
the
you might just be
thing.
hearing. It seems like.
Oh, I just sound really loud.
yeah, I don't have control over that. That's all
Oh,
in the
okay,
other
cool.
room.
Ooh, it's
Good.
Metro.
Then it's good.
It's
Windows
modern.
8,
No, let's say
Windows 8.
modern.
It's
anymore.
called modern now.
Modern.
I thought it was just called Windows.
No, they
8
had some.
style.
They had some.
I knew it was
trademark
Metro.
issues.
Ooh, Tweetro.
Oh, it
Tweetro
has
is-
Wikipedia.
Yeah. Well, no, I installed that from that Windows 8
Oh, it
Windows
flipped
Store.
around.
It does flip. This is good. These reactions. This is a play-by-play of Jake Rocket's
Justin,
first
Jake is the
moments with the
snidest man.
Surface.
This is
No,
the
that
We
was
need
the-
to put you on a green screen
That's
so we can
the
put a
thing, though,
white
with-
background behind
With
you.
Jake, you
and
have to
play
realize
some
that
music.
sometimes it's sincere. That was a sincere flip
I
flipped
was
around.
excited that it flipped.
He really liked that.
He sounded joyful.
I can message to the
You can
Windows
Facebook.
team.
You can Facebook message people.
This is.
It's the keyboard's still not
Oh,
working.
things are looking up.
I think we broke the keyboard. Might need to reboot.
Delete.
Oh, you deleted all my files in a sitcom.
Del.
Now, you guys
Yeah.
also,
Don't know how to
and
use
aside to your regular
Technical geniuses.
gaming podcast, you also have a book club.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Idlebookclub.com.
The idlebookclub.com.
And is
So
that
actually, everything we do that's outside of work is at idlethumbs.net, and it's all. I think it's well designed and well. What are you looking at?
Oh, there's push-ups.
Oh, push-ups.
occurring.
Yeah,
Joey's
these are,
in-
Oh yeah, so
push-
Joey's
push
trying to do
button.
1,000 push-ups
Yeah,
in
that's
24
really
hours.
impressive.
This is Guns for Kids.
What's
Guns
he
for
up to
Kids.
right now? Is there a
What
count?
is he up to?
I
We
can't
don't
see the
know
counter
yet.
from here.
Yeah, the
It looked
counter
like,
is not well lit.
It looked like 180
Yep.
when I was in
I
there
think
earlier.
he's making good progress.
Yeah,
he
he's
doing like 60 a session. It seems like.
He could go down a little further.
90 degrees is the official rule.
Feel free to challenge it
Hopefully,
anytime.
somebody in the chat can tell us where we're
that's
at
it.
with Guns for Kids right now.
That's it for this
watch
session. I
ourselves?
cannot
Nice
see
job.
what that
That's
actual
like a
number is.
mile and a half away.
I'm used to the scrolling backwards now. That was just a disaster.
I know. So that scrolls backwards. I've switched all my Macs to scroll the right way, the traditional way.
262.
Yeah.
262. Holy
We're
cow!
more than a quarter of the way through.
Wow, he's going to crush this.
Pledge on Twitter.
He's going to have no problem.
Hashtag
at all.
Guns for Kids.
We have a couple people who've pledged $1 a push-up. So
Yeah.
that's bad
I
news
guess
for
it's
them.
262 says the entire chat went.
Yeah,
there you
well,
go.
that's the way it works.
62 is the current total.
Hey guys, how much does a Big Mac cost?
Like $100?
This is yeah, exactly. That's
Romney.
$100.
You can't. Is the keyboard working for you?
No.
No, I was excited.
I
about
broke it.
Look at that. Oh,
We might have to reboot the keyboard.
We also have here the.
Yeah, it's it's Windows.
Are you? No.
We also
I'm
have
kidding.
the deluxe keyboard.
It has a button on it.
What's the difference?
Well,
this one has real keys.
Oh, it's squishy.
Yeah.
This is way better.
Feel,
don't-
feel
Well,
the
I
back.
don't know.
No, I don't actually care. About it.
You can make a better keyboard noise with that.
That's true.
I wish that the keyboard made like clacking noises, like an electric typewriter from 1978.
This is a pretty decent sound effect, though, as far as.
It's not
It's
bad.
good for movies. Like, I'm typing.
feels pretty good.
Hacking. You're
Yeah.
hacking.
Oh, Big Macs are $2.99. It turns out.
Why are we
Oh,
asking about Big
Sometimes
Macs?
$3.09. I just wanted to see if they could find out.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
the meal's about $5.09.
Oh, $5.09.
With
Okay,
tax.
good.
Or on
22%
certain days of the
back.
week, you can get 2 Big Macs for $4 at participating locations.
I wouldn't know that.
Well, we can read the chat. We can read the chat on this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. That's one step up
Sold.
on iOS.
It actually performs basic internet functions.
Yep.
Should be a checkbox.
So the
Box.
book club.
Yeah.
Can we
Now,
talk-
that's a separate podcast, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
do
a
that
separate
in-
podcast.
It's a monthly- monthly
What have you
monthly.
What have you been reading lately?
First book
You
we
just got-
read was The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
won the Man Booker Prize last year. And
Or
then
this year.
This year. And then the next book we read was
Here's
Cloud
this one.
Atlas. The movie's coming out. So
It's out.
We
It's
wanted
out.
to,
Cloud
oh, it's
Atlas
out.
by
Yeah,
David
we wanted to
Today?
read it. Yeah.
Well, I'll see you guys later. It's been fun.
By David Mitchell.
It's not being very well
I'm
received.
still halfway through Cloud Atlas, but it's
It's an
already
excellent-
one of my
excellent
favorite
book.
things.
Isn't
I've
it
read in a
wonderful?
long time.
Yeah, it's really
it's like
good.
Delight.
it's like a decathlon of prose.
It's
It
unbelievable.
really
Every,
is,
it's
yeah.
hard to believe that
Yep.
one person wrote every piece
Yeah,
of that, right? Because
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
so the kind of the prose gymnastics that are going on there is really pretty
It's
amazing.
Both stylistically and in terms of character voice. It's really
In
it's really
particular,
impressive.
the way post-apocalyptic like Bronze Age setting,
Yeah.
that the language that he comes up with there is pretty amazing.
It took me a while to get accomed to that, but once
but
I
once
did,
it clicks,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
totally you're
Yeah.
totally comfortable
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I was very impressed by it, and I am kind of
I don't know how they're making
more
that
wary
movie.
of the movie having read the book.
I'm pretty
Like,
wa-
how are
I'm
you
pretty
going to do
wary
this?
of
That's
the
the big
movie.
Yeah, if
complaint.
you listen to
I
the
adore
podcast,
book.
Chris and I are pretty
We're
not
wary.
optimistic.
That would be a way to put it,
Yeah,
yeah.
wary is a good word.
And then right now we're reading Telegraph Avenue by Michael Chabon, which is his new book.
Ah,
Yep.
it just came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was cool.
How do you like it so far?
how do you
What's
decide
the-
what
I don't
to
want-
read?
Don't want to spoil the podcast, but
I'm not done with it yet, and I just hit a part of it where it really took off for me. But
Okay.
it took me a while. I'm a huge Michael Chabon
his books
fan.
are sometimes slow burns, though.
Yeah, I would say I was in deep with Cavalier and Claret instantly.
Me too.
Wonder Boys instantly, just because of character voice.
Summerland? Did you read Summerland?
I've read Summerland. No,
Yeah.
but I've read and then
Yiddish
You read
obviously
Yiddish
Yiddish,
Yiddish.
and that was instant.
Yeah.
And this book, I think, I was so sort of just blindsided by actually the individual characters' voices, and I felt I couldn't figure out what Michael Chabon was trying to do, but now I get it, and it's a really, really great read.
I'm not
anyway,
there yet,
spoiler,
apparently, 'cause-
Spoiler.
How do you decide what to read?
We kind of have a list. We have a list on our Dropbox, and we sort of shuffle things around. And I think we wanted to do something that was short and easy to get into. Then we wanted to do something. We wanted to do Cloud Atlas before the movie came out, and then we wanted to do something new. Next month we're reading. The month after Telegraph Avenue, we're reading Evidence of Things Unseen by Marianne Wiggins, and she was actually she was a professor of mine in school, and she's awesome. And the book is. I've never read it. It's supposedly really great.
So you guys, I mean, it feels like you're kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
in
we just
terms
sort of pick things we're
It's not
interested in.
genre specific, or it's just stuff
No,
you
but
want to
it's
read.
just
I think we're mainly focusing on kind of relatively recent or modern fiction, but I mean,
Within that, whatever.
Like
we're
Gatsby's
talking
on our
about doing
list.
Great Gatsby later this year, so I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And are you old school paper guys or Kindle guys, or how do you like
I'm
to
a
read?
paper guy.
Yeah, I mean, I really actually like reading on my Kindle, but I like having books, so I'll do both. Just depends if I'm traveling
Yeah,
or what's going
I
on
mix
with me.
around from book
But
to
I've been
book.
hauling around the hardback of Telegraph Avenue, which is like almost
Me
500
too,
pages.
I just
Yeah.
can't do it anymore, like because I don't usually, unless it's a reference
have a
book, I
baby.
very rarely go. Well,
You got- you have a
Well, the
human-
baby can hold the book for him. You just rest the
Exactly.
book on top.
Yeah, you can
the
just rest it
baby's
on
in
the
the
head.
thing, and then you put put the book on the baby, and it's perfect.
Sean is actually second only to Norm in terms of his ability to be grossed out by my baby stories.
Oh, we don't talk about those, Gary.
Yeah,
He'll be like, "Hey man, want to hear something? I get a G chat, and I just pretend to not be there."
So you wouldn't believe what just happened. It was so gross. And
I'll open up Skype, and I am my wife, and be like, "We have to talk in Skype," so I go idle on G chat, so Gary doesn't think I'm there. Otherwise, I have to hear about a placenta.
Well, here's the great story. My baby has a cold right now. We have an attachment. We have like a pipe, like a suction pipe. You stick it up the baby's nose and literally suck the snot.
It's like a reverse
out of the baby's
neti-pot.
nostrils. Look at Chris's face. We have a new winner.
But you have to do that, or else they'll drown in
You don't
snot.
have to do that.
If you want the baby to live.
How much snot is it?
Okay, wait. You need to tell me. We got to 2012 in human history.
2012.
Thousands and thousands of years of human history.
Yeah.
And all the babies died because we didn't have the snot straw where you suck your baby's snot from a nose.
This is a valid point. Maybe we've out-evolved the
This is
ability to blow our own noses.
Horrifying.
Think of how big our heads are.
we could have had those back 100 years ago.
Yeah. We used to use reeds.
That is implied. We've had 2012 years.
No,
of
we've had
human
many thousands.
This isn't the Republican National Convention, guys. Come on. Maybe it was only people who grew up near reeds. Places where they could go out, they could get a
could
nice
go to a
hollow
museum
reed,
That's
and
true.
you could get the
See,
baby, line it up.
Next to the other devices, you
Yeah.
have the relic,
Yeah.
the bronze.
That's what those
snot
crazy
sucker.
like Egyptian things we thought they were to like pull
pull a
brains
brain
out of a
their nose?
nose.
No,
Yeah, no.
that
Baby
was
snot.
just
That's
suck
for
a
baby
snot
snot.
from a
That's for
baby
Pharaoh's
nose.
snot.
I mean,
The
And a
snot straw
brain.
thing doesn't even crack the top 10 of shit that I have had to see.
yeah, well, when you
No,
walked
no,
up to me and said,
that's-
hey, take a look
that's
at this picture, and it's the fucking placenta, that throws people
the
off a little
delivery
bit,
itself,
dude.
I mean, like probably sluts 1 through 5 are all in the first 48 hours.
There's a lot of birth-related stuff in Telegraph Avenue. How are you?
Oh,
finding
there is.
that?
I think it's great.
Why
Miracle
does this stuff gross you out?
It doesn't. Really? Sorry. I mean, it's horrifying what happens. Like physically horrifying.
But it's
like
nature. It's
objectively
beautiful. Can you not just see the creation of life, and it's wonderful.
It's a lot of blood, a lot of fluids.
I think once you're on the other side of this Rubicon, there is a switch that flips, and you just see it a different way.
This could be a side effect of
You
growing
realize
up
that it's
post-AIDS,
gross. You still
too,
realize
though.
that it's disgusting, but you're in some way kind of emotionally
Well, here's the
insulated
thing. I am
against
not
it.
disgusted, but I am afraid.
Let me ask
I
you
think
something.
those are different. That's different, I think.
If
That's valid. I mean, there is a lot to be afraid of.
You should actually, in Telegraph Avenue, like 110 pages in, there is I mean, only in a way Michael Chabon can twist. Like, there is a very explicit birth, and that man's vocabulary is so intense that it's like if in Rambo, instead of having a bow and arrow, he just had all the machine guns. It's like it'd be too intense. And that is Michael Chabon with words and this birth. And it's just like,
that was pretty awesome.
Like, oh God. There's no
scene-
chance you're going to get out of it.
That
Like,
scene didn't bother me in the least, but we don't want to talk about that until we get to a book.
you're burning Bookcast right now.
So where can people find out about the
You're burning the
bookcast?
book.
Oh, is that-
Idlebookclub.com.
Yeah.
go.
But that's like
separate
one of
to
those
Idle
things.
Thumbs.
Yeah, I guess. I
It's
mean,
hosted on the same website,
all the
but
same
it's
stuff.
us.
Did
Yeah.
Doug also
But
design
we
that?
don't talk about video games. Jake designed.
I designed it.
Yeah, Jake does. Jake does almost all of like the straight up like
I do the
like
graphic
graphics
stuff,
and visual
then
design.
our friend Doug does all of our back-end stuff. Like we have a custom CMS that the website runs off
And then
of.
a guy named Mike Watson does a lot of our front end development.
We couldn't
that we can't
find
do.
a good actual podcast manager.
It's kind of thin. Like our stuff is all custom. There's like the WordPress plugins that are kind of janky.
Yeah, we looked
Yeah,
at that,
but
and
we
I mean,
don't-
we
we don't
host
base ours on
all of our
that.
content on Libsyn because the rate is really good, but we don't use any of their tools because they're kind of suspicious, and we ended up just writing our own that manages all the RSS, iTunes, file distribution stuff.
Yeah, we wrote a CMS, or Doug did.
Doug
we just
did.
sort of went like, nice.
So that's why you put him in the game in the way that he was going to be killed
No,
first.
we put
Congratulations, Doug.
we put Doug in the game because
also-
Doug was actually Telltale's web developer and IT guy for many, many years. So when we were coming up with the story for the game, it was actually the dorkiest version of the Ocean's 11. I think we need one more conversation.
Yeah.
Where it was like, this crew's cool, but it seems like it could use one other guy. Maybe someone like Doug? Maybe someone like Doug. Maybe just Doug.
Maybe Doug.
It's
go
Doug.
Doug.
It's Doug. So, yeah.
Yeah. But it's called the Thumb Lord, our CMS, and it's awesome. The Thumb Lord is
So
Doug
we
giving us
should
the Thumb Lord is
we
rad.
should of course mention, because we're coming up on the hour,
Are we coming out already?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a clock
That-
right there. I put that there earlier today.
that in addition, of course, to
11
being
minutes.
Idle Thumbs, Sean and Jake also work for Telltale Games. And
You've done work for Telltale Games, Gary.
and are the project leads of a little game known as The Walking Dead,
That's right.
which I think they should be congratulated for because they really have
You guys are monsters.
created one of the.
Oh, thanks,
one of
Chris.
I think one of the best games of the year.
I don't work on it.
That was a good clap, though.
I'm clapping for
yeah.
you.
Gary, you're not allowed to talk about how the game is cool because you also wrote it. So
I know.
Well, I wrote 1/5 of it. So
Yeah,
I
but
think-
you
But
have-
you're also you have a story supervisor.
you have to now. You have to
whatever that
adopt
means.
the attitude of.
It's bullshit. It means nothing. I go in there and go, make it more like that, and they ignore me, and I get a check. It's all very,
It's more like the sense of picture.
it's all very convivial.
But
Will just finished episode 4.
I did.
And Sean
You guys are all
is
monsters.
currently.
Oh, did you beat it?
Episode 4?
Did you beat
Yeah, I beat it. I won.
You don't beat episode 4.
Nobody
Episode 4
wins
beats
in The Walking
you.
Dead.
yeah. We're currently working on episode 5.
I
one
would call
three,
it.
yeah.
I would call it wishing for death.
Yeah, it's getting.
It's
gnarly.
a different thing than working.
Yeah, we're putting
It's
everything.
really awesome.
We're
Are you
putting our lives
feeling? Are
into
you
it.
feeling the pressure to stick the landing? Because it's really kind of all on you now, right? No pressure.
I was writing it. Writing it was really, really hard. I went to a dark place. The pressure was really hard, and the content. I mean, just where the story is right now. Like, you know how it ends.
It's grim.
Yeah, and I've never written drama before up into this, so I mean, not for anybody to consume. So it was a lot of pressure. But right now, it's no. Like, I played a scene today and went like,
Yeah, we were looking at
Well,
the
we
last
talked
15
before,
minutes
you go-
today.
you-
It's pretty good.
You go through a process, right? From like
Oh, you know
terror
this.
to
Yeah.
uncertainty to feeling pretty confident about it to then like knowing what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Where are you in your process right now?
I'm.
We're actually
It's hard because
Sounds like the pacing
I
of the
think
game.
with the season finale, we're so down to the wire that those feelings are actually having to be condensed until they overlap with each
Yeah,
other.
it's a little
There's not
Jekyll
actually
and
enough
Hyde.
space for
So
them
it's
to
just
coexist.
it's sort of
At
like
this point,
it's like
emotional
laughing
confusion.
while crying sort of thing, or like crying while eating sort of thing.
It's crying while eating, while laughing, while barfing.
Exactly.
That's all
Wow,
four
that
of those
sounds
are happening.
like having a baby.
And there's just so much to be done. There's just so much that we're doing, but I think I'm not so worried about the story. And I got to tell you, the thing that took the most pressure off was knowing the story before we began.
Right.
Like,
So,
I mean,
you had
knew
the
that.
whole
Yeah.
arc lined
we
up
had-
before you
we had
started
the
the
big
game,
leads.
right?
We knew the last 2 scenes of the game mostly before we really got into the first episode.
Right, and that hasn't changed.
That
Sean
hasn't
is
changed,
the exact
yeah.
opposite. He's got a tremendous amount of discipline. He won't go on message boards. He doesn't let that stuff get inside his head. He just sticks tunnel
can't-
vision with what
That's
he wants
much
to
healthier.
do.
It's more.
Yeah.
It's not really discipline. It's more like self preservation. Like, because I'll be crushed.
Yeah.
So I stay away. I haven't really read any reviews or anything. And
Whereas Gary and I kind of just live in one of the
I
NeoGaf
can't
Walking
help
Dead
myself.
threads. Yeah, it's kind of
Well, and the
intense.
Telltale forums and everywhere. I'll
Yeah.
occasionally message Sean and say, "Oh, look what someone says." And Sean's like, "Why would you look at that? Why are you showing me?" And I think you have the healthier discipline.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe because at the same time, maybe I'm also screwing up something that everybody else knows is obviously wrong.
It works out okay though
But
because
you point me to the things where you're like, hey man, we should maybe think about doing this other thing just because there's prevailing winds. Maybe we should change it. Yeah, but the thing is that we not know what the end of the game was going to be when we knew it at the beginning. I think we would be under. I think at this stage, especially like 2 months ago, we would have been putting ourselves under a lot of pressure to maybe change it. But we were so into it that it's like, oh no, like that's.
Well, I
in
mean,
stone.
and we've made little course corrections along the way based on playtesting and things like that. But the big milestones, you say, like, I think you've been very, very disciplined in not letting anything kind of distract you from like, this is what the story is going to be.
Well, I
We're going to
think-
stay true to that.
Well, the benefit of this over something like a TV show is that you knew if you knew that arc, and then anything going forward is going to be, presumably something that continues on from there, but maybe in a kind of Walking Dead sense. I mean, there's a very specific way that Walking Dead progresses.
I think if you're doing a season
good
of
point.
serialized TV drama, you should know the end of your season. Otherwise, you're like mid-season or mid-series lost, where you can.
Hey, they
tell
knew the
they're
last scene. They knew the last scene.
Yeah, that's too
going
bad
in.
that they did.
oh,
But I mean, like.
I mean, the thing is like you make a good point about The Walking Dead and that it never really ends. So you have to, but we knew what we felt was a fulfilling resolution to season 1 for us, and we're just kind of. It still feels good to us, and that's what's been working. Like we keep the core creative decision making crew really small about that sort of stuff.
And it's a very rare
So-
thing, the Walking Dead, in that it really is almost like a masochistic thing, right? The audience almost enjoys the emotional punishment that the comics and the TV show.
it's
and the
brutal.
game-
Yeah.
I mean, it is It is absolutely
really
brutal in a wonderful way.
Like for example, like episode
Makes me really
3,
uncomfortable.
which you wrote, which is I think one of the episodes that has been the highest rated, is the one that is like the depths of misery. Like it's almost like there are misery fetishists out there that just want to be emotionally.
My wife was actually. I mean, this is a game that I play on the couch with my wife, and we sit there and we talk over the choices when we have a choice, and we have the option, and then if we don't, then she yells one thing and I hit the other button, and then we have a fight about it. But she was legitimately pissed off at you guys at the end of episode 3.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, but
as it should be.
and was happy about it. I mean, she wasn't. It was.
How's it feel like in the way
I'm
it's
happy
forced?
that I'm angry.
A strong reaction to a video game that she's never had before.
After episode 4, I got so many messages from people saying like, "You are an asshole, but I love you for it." You know, it's people always seem to enjoy that. I don't know if it is masochistic or what, but people seem to love it.
And the thing that's been great so far about the game is that there haven't been big choices made that I didn't feel like I had agency over. Even when I know I didn't have agency because you guys had to push the game in a specific direction, there's only been a handful of times where that kind of agency went away.
I'm glad you were fooled.
And yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on.
Oh, I know.
There's
when you see the choices.
Sorry, none at all. That's right. But these guys have very specific rules about. I mean, I learned a lot from working with these guys about the different, because you are serving two masters, storytelling and gameplay, and there's a very strict rule about like as the protagonist in the game, that character can never do anything critical or important that the player doesn't have a say in, right? That's like a big deal. My first draft of the script, I would have Lee go off and do things that the player has no say in, and Sean would kick those pages back to me and say, like, this is a video game. Why is the player not part of this decision?
Literally just, this is a video game
Gordon
would
Freeman
be like
walks
the
off
only
the
note
page.
on the page.
I think by the end, Sean was just writing in block capitals, video games, exclamation
Gordon
point.
Freeman walks
That
up
was
the
fun
page,
though. I'd never
like,
done that.
It was
That
good.
paints the creepiest picture in my mind of you're playing Half-Life through the first-person camera and then just out of your screen.
Gordon Freeman just kinda
walks.
walks
Yeah,
off.
he just walks away and then just does.
It's episode 3.
And people,
what's coming.
speaking of that, people do enjoy playing the Gordon Freeman playthrough, right? Where Lee never,
It's
never
weird.
say anything. It's a very weird
yeah.
experience.
It's very strange. It
Wow.
puts me silent. We have to have
We have
silence
to do the silent option for everything
because
but
if
it's
you're gonna
often
do a
odd.
game where like your choices have a timer on them, like what if you don't do anything? Like it's just very simple.
default option
simple
sucks.
as that.
Yeah.
But you do some pretty intense
You
yoga.
can create a weird playthrough where you have this guy who's just.
Well, it's like if somebody's like, Lee, this is a life and death situation. What are we gonna do? And he just mad dogs them. What do you have to write around that.
And
That's
it's
kind of
painful because you have to write the response every time,
Yeah.
and
It makes
it
for
can be
good YouTube videos though.
Yeah.
Of the Walking Dead
Have
the
you
Silent
seen,
Treatment
have
series
you
is
seen
really good.
Scumbag Lee, by the
Yeah,
way? Which is
I-
like all
I
the
saw a little bit
douchiest
of it.
choices. That's a fun video as
Yeah.
well. By the way, because so we have the retail version of the game coming out in December. We're gonna Telltale's given us a copy that all the Telltale guys are going to sign to give away.
Fantastic.
As
It'll be
part
part
of
of the silent auction.
I thought that was just a plug for the retail
No,
version of the game because the retail version's coming out.
Well, it's
Like-
that.
That's why we're talking
Can't it be
about it.
both?
Yeah, but no, we're gonna give that away. We're gonna auction it off for the kids. For
And
the
I
babies.
think what we'll do is whoever wins it can specify if they want the Xbox or the PlayStation version.
Yeah,
And
why
we'll
not?
serve that up, and everyone will sign it, and that'll be a nice little giveaway.
Well, do you want to explain how that works?
So silent auction, we'll start that. I guess we can start it now.
Yep.
I mean, send emails to tips@tested.com with your bid. Where should we start the bidding, guys? I'm bad at this.
Well, the
So-
retail
really-
value is $29.99, right?
So I think like $9.95. We don't want to flease anybody.
I think
Well, those last-minute
because
bidders
the
will
box is
come
going to
in.
be pretty heavily defaced. So that's
Well, is Gary going to sign it? Because
that's
that's
a good
minus $10 probably.
That's true. Yeah, Gary's gonna sign it with just a giant red marker after everybody
Video
else has signed
game.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean will just write video games.
That's actually what Jake will write.
I will
Yeah.
write. Sean will write famous.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you will.
We'll run the auction for the next probably let's say 2 hours. It's 9 o'clock now.
Specify subject
And
line.
obviously, when the game
Subject
comes
line
and when
should
the game
be
comes
Walking
out,
Dead game.
and when the game comes
Could've
out
been
in
out of thumbs.
December,
And
we'll
please
all
send
sign a
it.
copy and send it to you.
Send it from the email that you plan to donate
From the PayPal, yes.
Yeah.
Because that other way we will have no way
Then
of
we can
connecting
figure
you
out
to
who the winning
person.
bid is.
I have one last question before you guys go, and I don't know if our next guests are here yet. So we may be in bonus time now, guys.
Yeah, maybe so.
You mean casual?
Don't
time?
no. Keep the shirt on, please. It's a family podcast.
No, it's not. It's a fuck fest.
It's a fuck fest. You're right.
Oh God.
What?
Tell me more about this family.
You guys, this was a hard swing. I mean, The Walking Dead was a hard swing in terms of tone from what you guys have done before. Because it was, I mean, like the kind of when I think of Telltale games, I typically think of kind of Sam and Max.
Chris, are
and,
you gonna?
Also, I don't work at Telltale.
I know. I'm sorry, not Chris. I apologize for.
You should
Chris
ask
actually shadow wrote the entire game.
You should ask Chris about the cave from Double Fine Productions coming sometime.
Oh, that's right. And we
this
had
is
one
another
video here
famous
earlier.
Kickstarter. Yes.
Oh no,
No,
that's
that's
Double Fine
that's
Adventure
a
game.
Cave is not a
legit
Kickstarter
The
game.
cave is the
Run.
platforming adventure game.
Okay.
The
protagonist.
Cave is a new adventure game from Ron Gilbert, the creator of
Everybody is.
Monkey Island
You're
and
fucking co-writing that game.
I'm co-writing that game with Ron Gilbert, who is
Awesome.
the main writer of that game. Yeah, he's the guy who made Monkey Island and Maniac Mansion.
I've heard a lot of good
And
things.
is it about a cave?
It's cool.
Oh, it's about
really
the
fun.
cave.
It is in fact
The
about
cave.
the cave.
It's the cave.
Wait,
A talking
Play-Dohs?
cave. I'm sorry?
Play-Dohs?
Play-Dohs.
Play-Dohs cave?
Plato, as in
Plato?
Plato's the cave.
Oh,
Shadows on
no.
a wall.
We get asked that all the time. Sadly, there's no Play-Doh, the cave allegory.
Or
going on,
Play-Doh
sadly.
caves.
Or it's also not a Play-Doh cave. Yeah.
Disappointments all around.
Sorry, I wanted to make you actually plug the cave.
Well, this was a good talk.
Everyone has to fly.
When is the cave?
Early 2013 on
When?
Now you feel like
when?
plug
I know.
obliged.
I know.
PC, PSN,
It's-
Xbox 360, Wii U, in fact, also recently
wow.
announced.
Ooh,
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And idlethumbs.net.
Yeah.
Idle Thumbs
Oh,
Internet.
why are we plugging stuff? Let's talk about other things.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I feel like if you're going to come and give time, then we should plug.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Or give money
But yeah,
to kids
definitely
instead.
idlethumbs.net.
Forget
Yeah, plug the
games and
kids. We
podcasts
should
and
be-
stuff like
yeah.
that. This is a silly thing.
This
on
is
the
this was
internet.
way more of a talking about us than I expected it to be. I thought we were just going to
Yeah, I
be shooting
don't
the shit
wanna-
with you
we
guys.
were
about
just
Yeah,
really
is
crap.
to get guests so they talk for us.
Yeah, because we can't talk for 24
Oh,
hours. What kind
okay.
of self-centered assholes do you think we
You
are?
guys come in, you have to do some heavy
You
lifting
outsource this.
because
Sorry, we should have just come in with a subject that was more interesting than ourselves. Sorry.
That's true.
But then you started asking us all these questions about ourselves, so we had
Well,
nothing
brought
to
some
do
insight.
but answer
Now we
them.
know when we do our Kickstarter, $50
Yeah.
t-shirts.
Yeah, $50 t-shirts. Is
Exactly. You can run this whole operation.
And the
forever on
video, it
$50
turns out, is
t-shirts.
real
Twice as
easy.
expensive as going to a concert.
Really?
$50 t-shirt.
3 pizzas.
Do you have, what are your, since we're coming up to the end of the year, what are your favorite games that you've played this year?
Oh, wow.
Oh man, that's a good.
Evil thing to ask.
Dota 2. But I
You're
mean,
a
that's
big
not
Dota- you're a big
game.
Dota guy.
Really?
That's more of a thing that I do. And
That's
I
like
don't tell
that's like
people
saying I
about.
play league soccer.
It's a secret. Don't
Yeah.
tell anybody about that.
Okay, don't worry, it's just between us.
I jokingly and very like blowhard said 30 Flights of Loving, but that game blew me away. That
Me too,
Brendan
it
put
was way
that
up there.
together.
Yeah, that makes me lame.
Probably, I mean, FTL, I think, was probably on our list.
FTL 's
Like, if we're going
pretty
to say like a
strong.
group list, if we
No,
were
the
going to put together the
Kickstarter,
GOTY of the, or
Of
GOTY.
Idle Thumbs,
Also,
yeah.
we do an
I'm loving
annual
XCOM a
Game
lot.
of the Year.
Oh, the Idle Thumbs
awards.
Game of the Year Awards, goty.cx,
Ooh,
GOTY.cx.
goty.cx.
Check it
that's
out.
very
Oh,
clever.
nice.
That's a
All
good
right.
get.
That's good.
Very good.
Yeah, it's good.
Visit it today.
What's your icon? Is there like what's the
I-
lead in?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
can't-
a
I can't
colony
imagine.
Icon.
The art,
Can we
no,
describe
Is
it?
it like the
The-
curtains being drawn back
No,
on Game of
the
Year?
art is actually 2 hands giving thumbs up because we're Idle Thumbs pulling apart a thing that says goty.cx.
Fantastic.
The Idle Thumbs Games of the Year, and it's spelled GAMSE.
All right.
It's very,
GAMS.
it's the
Okay,
games.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very, very classy looking, actually.
Now, does this preclude your ability to talk about your favorite games of the year? 'Cause
No,
you don't
no,
wanna
these are just more like
spill the beans?
that could be nominees.
Nominees?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think probably XCOM will be on there.
Yeah, XCOM. XCOM I'm adoring right now.
I've really wanted to talk to a bunch of people about XCOM so far, and we haven't had time for any of it yet.
Oh, you should
So
play
you talked
XCOM.
about a
It's
bunch
fantastic.
of XCOM earlier with Brad
We
Wheeler.
talked like 3 minutes of XCOM.
Trust me, it was a lot longer than that.
Oh. Talk about
Dishonored,
XCOM all
Dishonored
night.
is really awesome. We've all been enjoying that.
Oh, is what's his name? No.
We've got our next victim here. Thumbs.
Are you not
Guys?
pre-announcing who the next person?
Well, it's Vinny Caravella. Isn't
We have a
it?
schedule.
Vinny.
We have a schedule.
Everyone's
Giant
excited.
bomb
Yeah.
is
It's on
here.
the. There's a piece of paper.
Yeah, we have a
with
very
the-
specific
I know.
schedule.
So Vinny's going to be here, but he's not. He's going to actually. It would be better if he was just green screening guys in front of weird shit.
Well, there was fire a little while ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay, good.
That is his charge.
Yeah, well, he only does that when he gets bored. That's his dirty
Well, yeah, 'cause
secret.
we were on a GDC cast.
I remember, I was there.
Bomb,
Oh,
right?
yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
And then we shrank Chris down in the green screen studio, and he played a song in miniature on
Yes.
the table. It was the best.
Yeah, it was amazing during the intermission.
Yeah.
during
Yeah,
the
it was-
like the 5-minute intermission that went on an hour.
We
and
don't
a
have
half, I
anything
think.
like that capability
No.
here.
Oh,
No.
The green screen's all folded up.
We
in the
just
corner
point
there.
cameras at things.
that's fine.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming
Hey,
by.
thank you guys
It's
so much.
Good to
It's
see you all.
all-
Yeah,
this
thank
is
you very
awesome.
much.
Yeah.
This is really great.
Well, we'll be back with more Oktoberkast with Vinny here in just a sec.
Cool.
Thank you guys for coming by.
Cool.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing
Cheers.
this for the kids.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll take advantage of this opportunity to plug the ways you can give money to the kids.
Yes.
It is tested.com/donate. There's a little chip-in widget down at the bottom. You can hit the button.
We're all just
add
leaving
funds.
during
Yeah, you
this.
guys should just leave. 'Cause
Yeah.
we don't fade to black or
Just
anything.
awkwardly leave.
This is 24 hours non-stop.
Donate, and we're I think
What's our total?
$4,700.
$4,700. Hey Gary, would you get me a Red Bull?
I would love to hit 5,000 by the end of the video segment.
Well, Vinny's here to
Hopefully Vinny
tell us
can-
terrifying things about having children.
Well, things that would relate to you.
Yeah. Topical.
Joey has done 262 push-ups.
Holy crap,
Joey!
Joey!
Give me a signal how well your arms are feeling. He
Joey feels great.
Yes, the training regimen.
Wow.
Has worked.
Hey,
I'm
high
also
five, Chad.
I'm also going to use this opportunity to
You can open the first of the cards?
my first pack of Marvel Masterpieces
just went
1993
off, Joey.
Series
Open his
2 trading cards.
So what are the good cards? What are we looking for here, Norm?
I'm looking for, I believe, Thanos versus Silver Surfer.
Okay, and that's is it going to be like a silver foil card or something like
Might
that?
be a
Or did they
foil
do
card.
that? Hey, would you hand
Any
me those
any
cookies?
full card.
I
These
haven't
are
had one yet.
delicious oatmeal.
Are these Leo cookies?
Leo cookies,
How did she have
oatmeal
that many cookies?
chocolate chip cookies, which I did not know you could do. I thought
burnt on
oatmeal
the-
could
Vinny
only be
Caravella.
paired with raisin.
You're here. You're here. Vinny Caravella is here.
Now,
Norm Chan is opening those.
these cards were, I believe, $4 a pack back in 1993. Maybe two to
you
$4
paid
a pack.
$25 for the whole thing.
$25 for the whole thing.
Pretty
You
good
get
deal.
6 cards in each pack. Oh, I remember opening these cards. And Joey said he wanted the smell of the cards afterward. So I'm saving the packaging for him to smell.
Where do I sit, Will Smith?
Is there gum in
Vinny.
those cards?
No gum.
Guys.
Hey, Vinny
Hi,
Caravella.
guys.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
You
Oh,
get a hug,
sorry.
man.
I get I wanna, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it smells good. How you doing, Norm?
Vinny, doing good. I'm about to be a lot better after opening these cards.
Oh.
This pack of Marvel Masterpieces trading cards.
I've got a power cord here.
You guys have done good
What you
things
got?
here.
Hey, have you?
Oh,
you
yeah,
been
you
here?
haven't been here.
No, no.
Have you never been
we,
here?
we want your
Check
critique.
out our set.
I know, it's amazing.
We have shelves.
I know. I'm very jealous.
We did all this in the last 2 weeks.
Who framed them?
We did these
In the last 20
in the
minutes.
last 20 minutes before the show.
Oh, really?
Well, I'll tell you a story once we get all set up. Joey has, I believe, has a cam. We're actually using the RoboCam, so we do have a product cam.
You're live now, by the
Yeah,
way.
these are good. I like the.
They're just the normal mics with a thing on top.
What?
You can get those instead of those
What?
shitty pop filters we used for the last 3 years. I know. Who knew? I know. Yesterday, Joey, I was like, I said on Wednesday, I said, Joey, I hate these pop filters. Is there not something better we can use?
What?
And he
But
said,
it's like looking into pantyhose.
and he said you can just get a. There's nothing good on the other side. The pantyhose are only good when there's something good on. And actually,
Yeah.
let's be honest, pantyhose not so good.
What are you, leggings?
I'm just saying it's not a
Like
thing.
raw dog?
This is just it's not a good look for anybody.
These are all pretty shit cards.
Just like supermarket robbers?
Supermarket robbers,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a good
yes. If you're trying to
Boy,
disguise
you
your
got
identity.
a panty on your head.
Norman Chan, what did you get?
I got a
You
Ghost
got a lot
Rider.
of shadow there.
I don't know if Joey's gonna be able to get me a cam on these cards.
Is that a Mystique?
I got a Mystique, a Punisher, Black Widow. Let me see if I can orient these to show. There it goes, kinda. Yep.
So this is a
Punisher,
Okay.
a Puma. I don't even
What's
know
a
who
Puma?
Puma is.
What is he doing?
He is jumping at you.
No, what are you doing?
Oh, what am I doing?
Norm.
So, I bought a unopened box of 1993 Marvel Masterpieces trading cards because it's something I can do now as an adult. I used to not be able to buy
Just
these
now.
as a
You just
kid.
turned 18. Congratulations, Norm.
Thanks.
Norm
Yeah.
has a source of income now.
Yeah,
I'm
very
gonna have
cool.
a kid next. No, God no. God no.
It's either you or Davis. That was good. That sounded real nice.
This one's I think maybe turned up high.
Joey's in charge of that. This
Yeah.
is just a headphone amp.
Oh, look at
Said
that.
this card,
Oh,
right.
ha ha hee hee ha.
So we built this set out.
On rock and roll.
We did.
We did
Well,
have rock
we
and
actually
roll.
did have rock and roll
and
playing.
baseball games. It turns out, yeah.
We built this in about a week. We painted the walls. So the walls before when we moved in here, for a couple months.
They're that kind of
Where
poop brown.
well, no, it's poop brown now. It's Triceratops poop color.
Okay.
Stone brown. It's an Eddie Bauer color.
The original color was a kind of pinkish beige,
Sure, you're talking to the right guy. I love colors.
and we painted this stone brown.
Yeah.
Went to Lowe's, picked the color. Looks all right.
It looks good.
Looks all right. And then built some shelves out, put some more stuff behind.
We had
Yeah.
more stuff
Set
than
decoration, and we're gonna get more shelves, and then
Who-
got these frames in.
Who blocked out all the windows?
The windows came
They
that
came
way.
pre-blocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty good.
So when the
Did you take that tip from us from our E3 house?
well, no, when the building inspector came, apparently, because this place was gutted by fire 2 years ago, and we're the first new tenants since that happened.
Good call.
So, nobody died. It
Yeah.
was one of the questions we asked.
Uh-huh.
And he said that when the building inspector came, he was like, "No, those windows are completely illegal. You can't have them." So he put a piece of plywood over them. And when we moved in, he was like, "I can knock the plywood out if you want." We're like, "No, fuck no. We want as dark as you can make it in here.
Yeah,
Close the skylights if you please."
I can make it pretty dark.
Yeah. So here we are.
You want to get dark?
The thumbs suggested that if you put a statue in each window, then the third one would open up. But I think that doesn't happen in the real world.
I don't know. I've played a bunch of Resident Evil.
Is that what happens in Resident Evil?
Well,
I thought you just eat green herb.
That's yes. Well, then you play Resident Evil.
Are you playing that new Resident Evil game?
No, I need a lot more green herb to play that.
Oh.
Boom! Are we on? Ouch!
Is this thing
It's all my
live?
best material.
This is good stuff. It's good that you're not holding out. How
No.
you doing, Vinny Caravella?
I'm doing all right.
You had a baby earlier. And just to be clear, these microphones are still the talk in the front kind of microphone.
Sure.
I don't know how you're so far up on it. You're much taller than, or you're not slouching enough or something.
Keep talking.
Touching all the old equipment.
How? Yeah, I know. That's Jeff's. No, that's one of ours. How's that going? How's the baby thing going?
Oh, congratulations, Will Smith.
Thank you. Have I made a horrible mistake?
No. So the thing my wife said to me when we were...
This is Dad Vinny Caravella giving advice here right now.
Yeah, the thing my wife said to me after she had delivered the child, after everybody had been like, "It's the greatest day of your life. You'll remember this forever. Like the best memories." Life. She said, "I think we've been lied to." So yeah, so you have that to look forward to.
Things to look forward to.
Cool.
It's
How old is Max now? He's
6
5,
months.
6 months. So you're getting into like little human phase now, right?
He's a little human, and
Do you have snot pipettes?
the snot sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's day one.
Snot sucker?
Why would you just not buy that? Don't even wait for a kid.
You can use that on your girlfriend, Norm.
It's got like a little filter on it.
so gross.
The snot.
So wait, do you get
Hold on,
like
does the filter
filter
work?
Yeah.
snot
It's
or
like
like
siphoning gas where you occasionally get a
Yeah,
mouthful.
you only get the pure stuff. Yeah. None of the
you
green
get to change the
gunk.
filter every week?
Yep. We used it like once or twice. It's for like when the baby gets a cold and like it can't expel snot.
Why doesn't it just breathe through? Chris Remo brought up a good point. Why does it not just breathe through its mouth?
Have you seen a baby mouth?
No,
They're lucky they can breathe at all. So when babies are born, they don't breathe. They don't know how to breathe. So they're just kind of figuring it out. So they breathe really erratically.
How long does this go on? A day?
Terrifying.
6 months? No, it's like a month thing. So they breathe. They go.
I do that.
Yeah. Well, you're a big baby, so.
Fair enough.
So yeah, you're gonna learn so much.
Yeah, we have
Well,
classes.
that's what you're here for.
So I
You're
to
here to
tell you.
impart some knowledge.
All right, here's my real advice.
I
to
mean, we
you.
could talk about whatever else, but I thought that this would be good and
Sure.
terrifying.
Yeah. So like, I really think you have to prioritize, right? Think to not go crazy. Like, find out all the things that are really important to you, right before you have the kid. Like the things you like doing. Like, I really like going to the movies. I really like a hobby. I really like eating dinner.
Well, are we doing
right?
dad advice?
Yeah, and just like before the kid's born, just make sure you like prioritize your life. Like write all that stuff down, right?
Yeah. Is this so you can remember when the kid turns
And they
18?
get sick of all that stuff.
And then burn that piece of paper
boy.
like it never existed.
Oh, boy.
And so that when the child's born, you don't even remember that you liked going to the movies. You don't even
What
remember
was the last
that
movie you saw?
that I saw in a theater.
That you saw?
I watched the Avengers. I watched Men in Black.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not so bad.
Yeah,
You've seen more movies than I've seen this summer.
but these are like movies you watch. You watch a movie like a little bit at a time. I think I watched Men in Black over the course of a month.
Oh, that sounds bad.
So like it's fascinating. You learn so much, and I'm a curious individual, so it's that part of it's great. The part that I didn't realize was like everything now all your personal life comes in small chunks. Like you have to fit in anything you like to do in like a 20-minute window.
This is very true.
Because that's all the time you're gonna get. So like playing a game becomes a race to get to a checkpoint or a save point because you never know.
You just don't play games with checkpoints.
But not even just like leisure activities, but like your meals. Like
Yeah.
you're happy just to eat when you've got 10 minutes to eat uninterrupted.
You don't really sit down to eat anymore.
Right.
You just kind of do the shovel it in. If you're real good, you learn to shovel it in with the baby on your lap or something like that while you're like doing this.
Okay.
You're just constantly moving stuff out of the way and eating at the same time because the baby's just constantly grabbing stuff, and it becomes awesome. It's like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time. Fork is going and this hand's going here, and like you're picking up stuff off the floor. That's fun.
Are you happy when people come over to hold the baby so you can actually take a breath, eat some food?
Norm just wants to hold the baby.
I like holding babies.
That is always an extra pair of hands is always appreciated.
Yeah, that's super nice, but like you feel bad sometimes because then the baby might start screaming, and then you take the baby back. It's funny how quickly you can hand a baby over to somebody and then just run away. Is what like oh, you want to hold the baby? Yes, hold the baby, and then just you're out the door and like we can't leave. They're with the
See
baby.
the engine starting.
Yeah,
to drive
it's
off.
like they won't realize for like 10 minutes that we're gone. Don't worry. Sleep is the worst. Mostly
it gets better though.
I think it gets better and then it gets worse again. So where are you at? You're 4 months?
We're coming up in 4 months, and she mostly sleeps through the night, but not always. And she's just started teething.
Oh, yeah.
So now you've got experience.
So now you've got the part where you pick her up and it's like she's just filled with drool, right? And the drool just comes down.
She does
like,
drool a lot.
Very
it's
messy.
just
and she has a cold right now as well, so it's all snot as well. I mean, it's just
it's like every fluid just starts coming out. Like it's
That's
like
the part I don't like.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fluid.
Yeah, the drool is amazing. Like I don't know where it all comes from. It's like there should be a cork or something on the bottom where you can drain the drool out, because like it just tips out, and then there's just like you put clothes on and it's just drool like
It
this.
just never stops.
And like you might like I don't know.
You get used to wearing stuff around the house that you just don't care if it gets all fucked up, right? Because it's just gonna happen.
And like Max didn't really spit up too much, but like I wear a lot of black shirts.
That's not a good color if you're eating milk primarily and throwing up a lot of.
Yeah, so like I've had to buy more black shirts. It used to just be toothpaste was the enemy of the black shirt, right?
Yeah,
you
and
brush your
deodorant
teeth.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe deodorant,
Yeah.
right? And now it's got spit up stains on it. But you
Babies, enemy of the black shirt.
You didn't know that's the name of my new rap album.
But you're right.
Enemies of the
You
Black
don't really watch TV, or you just the TV's on, but you're not really watching it. You kind of like the idea of concentrating on anything that the baby isn't a part of is just it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get it. Like you don't really complain. You just kind of get on with it.
You just deal with it.
You just got to deal with it. And the part now that I'm at with him at 6, he's 6 months, but he's like a 6-month-old giant.
Has he gotten to the point that he stopped trying to punch himself all the time, or is he still doing that?
He doesn't punch himself all the time. So now he's really big for his age, right? He's like 97th percentile big.
Is that good? Is that a good thing?
It's just big.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just big, right? So he has the ability to stand up, and he pulls himself up on stuff now.
At 6 months?
And at 6 months, yeah. So he's crawling around and standing up because he's just big, but he's still got. But I think cognitively he's still at 6 months. So I think nature planned that stuff all around, like being like, all right, well, like 8 or 9 months, you should be able to stand right about the point where maybe you understand when your parents saying like, no, don't do that. But like he's not there. So he's like just a.
So he's just like a toddling id.
He's like a giant terror, right? So like he'll get up and like he'll pull himself up on stuff, and he gets super excited, like, Dad, I pulled myself up on the table. Woo! Hands go up, and
That's a lot of words for a 6-month-old.
well, it comes out as like, yeah.
Okay.
And then the craziest thing is like the physics of baby don't like apply by the laws of nature, right? They're just all head. So like they somehow invert themselves 180 degrees to always just be landing on their head. It's always it's head first. It's like their head is filled with lead and the rest of their body's made of foam,
Well, the
right?
head's the strongest part of the baby, right? We haven't had the classes yet, but this is what I heard.
But it's just head first into everything. It's like that head just is like leads everything, right? So it's just head into the table, head into the
That seems
crib.
real scary.
Yeah.
It is interesting to talk to someone who's like a couple of months, because it's like you're like 2 levels ahead of me in the game that we're both playing.
No spoilers.
Wait until you get to that boss. So
Yeah.
oh, trust
I'm
me.
gonna buy that game used.
Yeah.
It's
because
I don't even know what that means.
Our one is
I think
just-
it's illegal.
our one is just at the point where she's not quite crawling yet, but she's starting to roll over, and like you can't leave her alone anymore, because like we used to like sit her in the little baby seat, but now she'll like find a way to squirm and wriggle out of it. So like
She's become mobile.
you can't just sit her somewhere and walk away. Like you
Right.
constantly got to keep one eye on her.
So does she practice in her sleep? Do you find her like, does she start rolling over and getting up hands and knees or anything, or sitting up in her sleep and just freak herself out?
Not so much on her sleep. She the period where she would like startle herself awake. was a thing.
Just like the
you
hands.
do like baby jazz hands. You
Yeah.
just wake up. That and then they grow out of that. But now she's at a point where if you just leave her on her back, she'll try to roll over and try to kind of fidget and move around, and it's not satisfied just being stationary.
Do you have a video monitor for the baby? Or is
Yeah,
it,
we got a good one.
So, when it has like the night vision, right?
Yeah, but it's like Paranormal Activity. It's creepy.
So that's the creepy. So the one I have,
When they open their eyes and they've got like all those points of
Yeah.
light. Oh, shit, the baby's possessed. What happened?
Yeah. So like
Nobody told us this was going to happen.
it's awesome, but it really is really creepy in a way. So like. So we might even have the same one.
We have a Motorola. It's
That's
good.
what we
It has,
have,
like,
and
the
it's wireless.
temperature and,
Yes.
yeah,
And
you
it can
move
play
the
little- it
camera
can
Why
play-
around.
does it tell the temperature in case the room's haunted and it gets really cold?
Well, because
Yeah, you gotta know if the temperature drops 20 degrees, the
Like when we
baby's
had a heat
possessed.
wave recently, it's 82 degrees. You can't leave a baby in a
It
room
turns
like
red.
that. Yeah.
Like,
Where do you put the baby? Like,
there
if it's
alerts?
82 degrees.
Like,
you
where
put
do
them
get
in
the
in a
baby?
house in San Francisco with no air conditioning during a heat wave, anywhere.
Or
in
the
house.
oven.
Right. But like, what do you do if you just go sit in the car with the air conditioning on?
You buy a lot of fans
Oh wow.
or an air conditioner.
Does the cameras record? Can you record the possessed baby footage?
Mine, I don't think that Motorola. You don't want to record it.
But it's I think
flush it from
we
somewhere.
did get the same one. It's good because you can open a little microphone and you can talk to the baby through the thing.
and it's remote controlled with
And
the
also,
camera.
if you don't want to hear the baby constantly like cooing and gurgling or whatever, you can turn the sound off and actually get a visual representation. Like the light will come on if the baby starts making noise.
It's pretty high tech stuff.
It's very
Like a
really, it's a
waveform?
good. It took us a while though to even get to a point where we were comfortable having the baby in another room on a monitor, because you have that thing where like if you don't have line of sight with the baby at any given time, you just panic. It's like, oh, is the baby okay?
Yeah, because they and I mentioned this before, like any class you go to, well, I imagine whatever. I've been to my classes, right? I didn't survey a bunch of other people's classes.
No, of course not.
But they're just like, don't leave a blanket in the crib. Don't put stuffed animals in the crib until they're like 15 years old. Like don't,
Until they're 15 years old.
because they'll just choke on it.
Congratulations, Norm. You're
Oh
ready
god,
for
you're
your
driving
first
yourself
stuffed
crazy
animal.
reading all that stuff
Yeah.
out there. Like
Oh,
8
they'll
million ways for a
suffocate.
baby to die.
Yeah,
Well,
like
I mean,
And you believe every one of them.
so we went crib shopping.
yeah.
And
High tech crib?
no, dude, the cribs are a nightmare because apparently people sell cribs that are death traps for babies.
Oh, like
yeah.
the lifespan of a
The
crib, I
recall.
think, is about 24 hours. Like they put them out, and then there's like recall on this crib because
I'm
it
not-
chops off
Baby.
toes.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like the ones that, like, you look at a crib and you think, oh yeah, the thing with the side that comes down.
Yeah, no, that's illegal.
That's they still sell those though.
Oh, that's like
you're
that's
not
like,
supposed to have
Were you
those.
shopping at like
Babies R
1920s?
Us.
Like is it
No,
like
they have
is it
all
like
sorts of
2
shit.
bees in like the baby's part or something?
Gina has an app on her phone when we're walking around the store that like you look at it and she's like, nope, that one's can't have, nope,
Yeah.
nope, or she just has it in her head. I don't know. I assume it's an app, but like I was like, hey, this is really cool looking. It has lights and it flashes. She's like, no, you can't have that.
I
one.
had the same thing
Are
with
the
you.
people who work at those stores actually informed? Because you
No,
figure
it's like any
they
store.
must be.
It depends what
They
store you go
should
to.
be.
Like Babies R Us, when I went in there one time, we had like a baby emergency and I had to run to a Babies R Us, and it was like Walmart for baby stuff. It was
It's
just
like
like
the
bright
Death March of
lights.
baby stuff.
Yeah, and it was terrible. I didn't enjoy that experience, but I've gone to smaller baby stores that are kind of like
expensive, though.
boutiques.
They're expensive, but like the people there, like they vet the products and they do all this stuff, and they whatever, they'll upsell you and do whatever. Just, you go online. We're all online. You just look at all the reviews for stuff and kind of figure it out.
The problem is though, like you buy the thing that you put the baby in, whatever it may be, and you look at the reviews, and the problem is that your paranoid brain will find the one review that says, "Oh, this thing will kill your baby," and you just obsess about that one review.
Right. I had a friend. My friend's sister had this, and don't get it. She's a nurse. Don't get it. She's a registered nurse, and she woke up and her baby had 7 arms.
Yes.
And it's like it's a blanket. Like, how did that happen?
But
like,
because
it'll
you go
happen.
through this, you go through this mindset of fear, because you do the thing like the first couple of months where you're constantly like when the baby's asleep, you like poke the baby to make sure it's still alive.
Put the mirror up to its mouth.
Yeah, you do all
Really?
you do all this weird
Oh,
stuff.
dude,
like,
you'll be there. Yeah.
you will live through a kind of worst case scenario mindset for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually it starts to get better.
Or that's
but
how you know
constantly-
whether you're a terrible person or not.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, no, but like Gary's saying, you kind of get over it. And
A
then you're like-
little bit.
Yeah.
I still wake up in the middle of the night sometimes. I'm like, the baby is too quiet, and you'll go over and like poke the baby. The baby like, what the fuck? And you go, okay, you're still alive.
Well, so that's it. So Max just started. He started practicing all this shit in his sleep, like being on his hands and knees, and like he'd just wake up and just be completely freaked out, like eyes half open, like how the
Like,
fuck
I don't
did
know how to lay down. Like,
I don't
he's so
know how I
drunk.
got here. I'm standing up, and then you're like, oh my god, I gotta run upstairs. But with that baby monitor, the picture times out after a while, right, to save the batteries. So like times out. So once in a while we'll turn it on, and he's just hands and knees, staring into the camera, rocking back and forth.
Oh, that sounds creepy.
And it's the fucking creepiest thing ever. Just like, oh my god, like you need to go upstairs and go check the baby. I'll wait down here with
It's
the
like
phone in my
the
hand.
baby's learned how to do jump scares.
It's just
Do you take a baseball bat up with you just in case?
No, I just send my wife.
What do you? Okay, well, yeah, I mean Jesse can handle it.
So yeah, that's super scary. And the part I was at a party, and not to just dwell too much on baby stuff, but sometimes you just gotta laugh at this stuff. There was a party for a 1-year-old.
Is this the party? Is it really a party for the 1-year-old, or is it a party for the parents?
Nah, it's to celebrate the first year, right? And maybe it is a party for the parents who have survived the first. Everybody survived the first year. We made it through. Yeah. So the kid's walking around though, right? And he's walking around. He's toddling as they do, and he's super psyched to be walking around. He's got his little stubby hands out in front of him, and they have a gate with bars or whatever. And the kids, I see him. He's probably about where Gary is to me. And he's walking towards the gate, and he's gonna go lean on the gate. And he puts his hands out to go lean on the gate, and the hands go right through the gate and just whap, and then head back, whap. Oh my God. And everybody's like, and babies do that thing where they sit up and they don't quite know how to respond yet, and it's just silence around, and then somebody must have made a face like that should have fucking hurt. That like. And then the baby saw them. It was like, okay, yeah, that's the right response. It was
Joey's
like,
doing push-ups, by the way.
Oh my God, more push-ups.
I think he's gonna do 1,000. But no, you know what? I think part of it is once you've been through this baptism of fire, and there's someone else behind you in the queue, like Will is right now. You just kind of enjoy fucking with them a little bit, and like it's not. The reality is you figure it out.
Yeah.
There are parts that are scary, but mostly it's awesome, and you just get on with it. Like,
and we'll never tell you the worst parts.
Right. Yeah. The super secret worst parts.
You got to figure that out on your own.
But like Leah knows my reading level, so rather than giving me books, she gave me these pamphlets. So like, well, you can probably handle this.
You're a screenwriter, right, Gary? Just to be clear.
But I'm also pretty ignorant and not very literate.
Did the pamphlets make you want to read the books after?
Well, so the pamphlet basically, the pamphlets that are aimed at dads are clearly, they're all things like. One of them was like 5 top tips for being a dad, and they were things like, don't worry, you're not gonna kill your baby, and like stop freaking out all the time, because they understand that this is what dads go through. There is a period of like terror and worry, but you just get over it.
I mean, just holding a baby is scary. If you don't like the first time you've held a baby in a long time, it is a scary thing.
The first time, but now I carry it around just like
football
whatever.
hold, right?
Yeah, you just grab it and you just you just get on with it. After a while, you realize that they're pretty resilient.
They're made of rubber.
You're probably not gonna drop them.
I mean, if something bad happens, it grows back, right?
There was a time
they're like lizards. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be terrified of holding just someone else's baby, especially you're only like, oh, this fragile little thing. Especially very early on when their heads are like they can't support their own head. But after a while, you just scoop them up and just carry them around on you. Whatever, it's a baby.
And like when I was like putting clothes on the baby. When we first
this seems like it would be hard.
Well, yeah, because they're squirmy, but like they have little itty bitty hands, right, with these little just like rubber digits.
It's like fully formed, but super tiny.
Super tiny, and they're just made of like I don't know, like noodle or something, right?
Yeah.
And like
bone and meat, I think is the technical term.
Well, but it's really is just like rubber, and like the putting clothes on, putting long sleeve clothes on the baby the first time was always just like
that is not easy.
Oh my god, like I don't want to bend a finger backwards.
Right, you're going to break a little finger or something. Yeah.
And now it's just like fucking get your arm in that goddamn thing, and like they figure it out. They make a little fist, and then they put their arm behind them, and then they're like now he's just rolling over. So it's a lot of Max, like half poop diaper, crawling away with like a half shirt on. We're like, I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go outside. No, I think Jesse, just go outside. And once you leave the house, you just don't go back in. If you don't have it, buy it. Just if you go back in the house, you'll constantly just be like, we should bring this blanket, this bottle. Traveling with a kid.
Oh, you just went to New York, right?
Now that is serious business.
We got back from New York right as you were leaving. It was a great trip for us.
Yeah.
We went out, went to the parks.
Probably a better trip because we weren't on the same flight.
That's probably
true. Oh yeah, how do you like hand around the bags of candy to people? Like with a little note. Some people do that.
One time,
I apologize for my baby in advance. Here's some candy.
One time I was on a flight, and the guy sitting next to me had his kid on the window seat, and the kid was so much of a nightmare that the guy sent me a case of wine when I got back. Afterwards. He was like, give me your business card. I'll invite you up. Come up to the vineyard sometime. Okay.
Wow, really?
It was a great flight.
Holy cow. Maybe doing some business deals.
I mean, so the nice thing about that trip, though, was that guy had the right, he like negotiated. He was like, so the kid's asleep, and it just pooped. So we have a choice. You can either let him sleep with the poopy diaper and deal with a little bit of smell.
You never wake the baby.
Or you can wake up the baby and then the baby's not going to sleep for the next 6 hours.
What did you choose?
I chose the poop.
Never wake the baby.
Because he said never waking the baby was a mistake.
That you know that permission to fart on the airplane.
I mean that's a free reign. And when you get up to altitude, the pressure increases, and
you always have permission to fart. That air cycles so much.
When they do the flip, then you know they just farted.
What?
When they turn on the air,
I do the flip because I'm hot.
Yeah,
and I farted, but mostly I'm hot.
The thing you gotta be careful with on the
whole
airplane
time is fine, and then they turn on the flip.
Is the trapped seat fart though? Especially if you're on like US Air, somebody that has the leather seats, it can get pinned in there. And then when you stand up, it all releases at once.
Whoa.
The whole plane just knocks out. It's like... and you do the thing, like when you look around, you're like,
man, that guy behind me must have shit his pants. That is just nasty. But yeah, the amount of gear you have to bring traveling with the child is... and like this
even just going to the... like.
Do you guys...
I woke up the other morning and I wanted some cereal. And we didn't have,
often happens.
Well, no, it doesn't happen. I don't usually allow myself to have cereal because I'm a low-carb guy. As I say, as I unwrap this Kit Kat.
Yeah,
they're green tea Kit Kats.
But on the weekend, I'll have some cereal and there's no milk, and I'm like, fuck. Briefly considered making it with baby formula. Decided against that. And I'm like, fuck it. I really, really want cereal. I'm going to the store and I'm going to buy some milk. Wait, fuck, I've got a baby. Can't leave the baby here.
This is like a cautionary tale for teenagers.
And it becomes
Choose your own adventure.
a 20-minute military operation, fucking car seat, diaper bag, because you've got to be prepared for it, because anything can and will happen. So you've got to have the wipes. I mean, we've had a couple of blowout diapers where it's like, it's fucking on.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just changing the diaper, it's like the whole outfit.
Yeah.
And sometimes items of they tell you, don't just change of clothes for the baby. Bring a change of clothes for you as well, because you will get shit on all over.
You are laughing, Will, but this is your future.
But again,
it's not going to happen to me.
You cross this...
You guys have clearly shitty babies.
This is that crying while eating laugh that Sean was talking about.
Yeah.
You cross a threshold where you don't even care. You have shit on your hands, on your person, and you just don't care.
When Chloe hurt her back, one of the things that happens when a dog hurts her back is they lose complete bowel control. So when that happened multiple times, it was like after the PC Gamer LAN that year that I blasted out of there at 11 o'clock at night. Like there's shit everywhere, and you don't care because the dog's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I assume that it's going to be a reaction that is less extreme than when the dog shit all over me 3 times.
But, and this cannot be stated enough, the period, the end point of all of these terrifying conversations is that it is all worth it and more. And I know that's the cliche, but right, isn't it though? Like it's you would there's no way you would take this back and say, just take the baby back, I'm going to undo this. Wait, hold on, Vinny's not so sure.
There's no return policy.
No, yeah. There are, and it's so weird just how the mechanism is built in, right? Like the baby knows just when you're ready to
lose your shit,
to lose it, and then it'll just smile.
And he goes, oh.
And you're just like, oh, you're adorable, man. You're adorable. And then it's back to kicking its feet in its own shit.
Can we talk about the naming thing? Because the name is, we're at the name conversation now.
Yeah.
And the naming, well, I know, Gary, you're obviously out of this conversation for obvious reasons.
Oh, no, I can talk about it in theory.
In theory, yes. But you gave your child a very distinctive name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I assume that there were some conversations about that. Is there a strategy that is going to help me get the name that I'm dreaming of?
Was it an easy process deciding on a name? Because we really went through the ring. We went down to the wire.
We've had some of the biggest fights. I mean, we haven't had fights. But
so you're saying it's more of a competition between like the name that you want and the name Gina wants?
Well, no, we're good on one part of the name. It's the other part that we're... Are
you talking about the
there's
middle
no consensus.
or a
middle is
hyphenated?
easy.
Oh, okay.
Middle's easy.
So yeah, so we didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl.
Okay.
So we had to do double duty on that one, on the naming stuff.
See, that makes it twice as bad.
Yeah.
Did you have you had the envelope or something that they offered you, right?
They did, and we kept it sealed, and I had it in my bag the entire. I carried
so
it.
you didn't know until birth?
No.
Oh wow.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and we had gone through all the tests and all that stuff too, and fuck the test.
The
but like we went through all the.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated all that stuff.
The day that you went in, and I mean we're all old.
Yeah.
So we had to do the. I'm sure you did the same thing we did. You go in and you talk to a guy that looks like Chris Elliott about the genetic screening. Yeah. I mean, our guy was. He's really a super nice guy. His name's Larry.
Yeah.
He's very calming and used euphemisms appropriately and all that. And you're doing this genetic screening. He's like, we're going to talk about odds today. I was like, shit, I was always
Oh,
really bad
dude,
at this. And then they get out this fucking binder that's enormous.
Yeah, no, that's about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
this big.
Yeah, and he just keeps unfolding. He's like, well, okay, so here's this thing, and this is the odds of that, and here's this thing, and this is the odds of that.
And the odds are so crazy.
It's like 1 in 100,000, even when you're old to have a kid.
But even the doctors will never commit to something, even after a screening, even after something might show up. They'll never commit to something and say you're okay. They'll always say, well, the odds are against it or something like that. And all that means to me is like, well, we have a better than 50-50 chance if the odds are against it, like literally, right?
Because at that point, all rationality goes away.
And I wouldn't leave the house if somebody were like, you have a 50-50 chance of getting hit by a bus. I'm like, well, I'm obviously not going to take that chance. That's a bad bet.
And XCOM just came out, so sweet.
Right. And if somebody's like, you have a 50-50 chance of your kid being born, a giraffe.
Yeah.
And like,
well, that would be pretty awesome.
And that's like page 7 of the binder. And then they just keep going and going and going. And it's just all this stuff. And then they're like, well, what's your nationality? What's your history? What's your this? And then, we had a guy who was like, so my wife's Jewish. And like, are you Jewish? And I was like, no, I'm Italian. He was like, well, that's good. And it's just because he just skips about 25 pages of the book, right? And it's like, well, good. You can get past all of this stuff.
Like, you're probably good on sickle cell. Here's all the other stuff.
And it's just like, just don't tell me this stuff.
And then for us, the hard swing on this was from there straight into the first real ultrasound.
Yeah.
So like you're walking out and we're like we're holding hands. We're not super touchy people. And I was just like, are you okay? She's like, no, that was not okay.
The baby went from being in your mind a binder full of odds, statistics.
Well, yeah, and then you get into the ultrasound
room,
and it's not a picture. Because I was expecting a picture. You get because we'd had the earlier ultrasounds because there was some weird stuff happen. But you all of a sudden see this little thing with arms and legs flailing around. And you're like, I didn't think I could feel this good as a human being.
Your mind does become your own
I had this
worst enemy.
capacity for joy.
Well, until they show you the 3D ultrasound picture, and then you're like, oh my god, just turn
I
that
know,
thing.
what the hell is that thing?
There's a reason this is black and white.
Yeah. This was okay.
I knew 3D was
we got
bad.
a good look. It was all face.
Bad.
No weird limbs and tubes.
A 3D ultrasound looks like a colonoscopy. It's like at that point, there's like there's.
I have it on the computer. I can show you.
I don't know why they bother with that 3D imaging. It's terrible.
I don't want to see the inside of a human body in that much detail.
I thought about putting it on the MakerBot. I was like, can you give me the source files? She's like, yeah, we'll give you JPEGs. I was like, no, I want the 3D model.
It's like at that point, it's like you might as well like I don't want that much level of realism. The level of abstraction that a regular ultrasound gives you is just fine with me. A grainy black and white.
I like the old-fashioned 2D images more than enough for me.
That is just fine.
On the name, did you just wait until Jesse was like hopped up on pain pills and like boom, filling out the birth certificate? Or?
No. So basically, I had proposed the name kind of early on in the process, and it got laughed down.
Okay.
Right? It was a pretty quick kind of like, hey, how about this? And she was like, Rex is a dog's name. We'll never go with that. And like, she was kind of okay on Massimiliano, right? And then it just got to the point where we just ran through so many names that we just hated and hated and hated until the point she was like, what about that one you liked before? I was like, Massimiliano Rex? She's like, yeah, let's just go with that. And
nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So just kind of.
But you also had a girl name.
Had a girl name, and I'm keeping that one in my pocket. You never know.
Yeah, because you don't want to give away we wasted a good name on the dog. It turned out.
Oh no!
Wow.
Chloe's Banana Smith.
Well, I don't think we would have named the child Bananas.
That would have been awesome.
I want to use a non-name name.
What's a
What
non-name
do you mean?
name?
I thought like Quad. Obviously, if it was
that's
a
going to
boy.
fly.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not getting anywhere with that. So anyway, the name thing, it's a challenge.
I definitely went through the period that I think a lot of our type do, where I was trying to make shit like Lando and Kal-El fly, and it was just getting shot down.
See, I never tried a Star Wars.
I realized I was just burning up the whatever goodwill I had.
Yeah.
We had to get serious pretty soon. In fact, we actually thought we had a name because we found out at whatever it was, 13, 14 weeks, that it was a girl. But until that point, we were playing around with boy and girl names, and we were much closer on a boy than we were on a girl name. Of course, then we found out it was a girl. Like, all that progress goes out the window, and you have to start over. And it took a long time.
It's hard, and you just start realizing how much of your life will dictate how much of this child's life, right? Like, you start just going through names, and like, oh no, I hated a guy named this. And
and it's like, because each of you has veto power, right?
Yeah.
A lot of things that I would say something, and Leo would say, oh no, I knew someone that had that name, and I hated it.
It's like the UN Security Council.
And you can go on websites and type in a name, and they will tell you all the different things that school kids will will do to that name.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So, like,
In
these
graphic
resources-
detail. If
those
you're
resources are out there.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's a big deal. It's like it's one of the most defining things about your life,
think
and
it's
yet you have no,
yeah.
you yourself have no choice over it. It's just that you're stuck with that name.
Right.
I guess
And
you
we
change it,
kind of
but-
look at people who change their names later in life as like weirdos. I mean, I judge all those people.
Yeah, like,
just like
what
the
kind
kid
of
who
crazy
poops his
person
pants.
would change
Yeah.
their name?
So, I mean, I think that personally you should give a placeholder name for the kid
Just
that lasts
temporary.
until they're like 20, and then they have a naming day and they go out
A
and they pick
naming
their
day?
own name.
They're
Are you,
free
like,
from
in
their
the-
slave
are you in-
name or
yeah,
something?
Yeah, are you
Maybe
in like The Hobbit?
I was thinking.
Oh, you mean on their like
yeah, like their 20th birthday, you could go out and pick your
their
real name.
111st birthday?
Well, I wasn't thinking. Yeah, originally I thought 15, but then I thought everybody would be named Brad McAwesome or something really dumb.
I think
other
20.
thing-
the
the
other
other thing-
at 20, still pretty.
maybe
dumb.
The other thing
25.
you can try to do to give the kid some agency over it is pick a name that a lot of things can be done to, right? So you could be this or
But that's why there's 50 million Elizabeths.
right.
I mean, that's right.
Like a
You,
Lizzie
you,
and
want,
Betty.
you want a name that has some
Lizzie,
has some
Beth,
flexibility.
Well, that's what we
Yeah.
want. With, that's what we want with like Massimiliano.
John could be
which is-
Jack.
There's just a lot of vowels in there.
well, it's just it goes down to Massimo, Moss, Max.
Yeah, see, he
If he's a rapper,
and he
he
will
can be
make
called
that
Ill.
and he will make
Sure,
that choice.
Iliano.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's pretty
Oh, I like
good,
that,
yeah.
I like that. But we just wound up using Max because it's the shortest thing,
Yeah.
and like we knew we were just going to use the shortest thing.
It's a solid
M.
handle.
I think
It's a
it's
good
a,
moniker.
it's a
Will,
solid
I will
name.
donate $15,000 to charity if you name your child Tested.
I'm not naming. No. You know, they found the guy that named himself, that changed his name to Zune or whatever. What was
my
it?
God.
No, he's
Remember?
got a tattoo. I don't think he changed
There
his
was
name.
there's a whole history of people who got tattoos on their forehead that say things.
Oh my God. That's
There's a woman
amazing.
somewhere with like hot full tilt poker tattooed on her forehead. Do you think she doesn't regret that? I'm not naming
Well,
my kid
tattoo
Tested.
is something that
Maybe
you,
if it was a boy. Maybe if we were having a boy, I would go with Tested.
So did you start running down the names already?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was some stuff we had to go down, which was like family stuff and
We've
like
got some
you know,
family stuff that we
yeah.
like. We both can agree upon.
But yeah, the naming stuff wasn't that bad.
Well, then the fear is that you'll accidentally give a kid like a super popular name too, because you don't want to have the kid that's one of 5 Heathers.
well, you don't know what's gonna be super popular.
Well,
you
it's
know,
difficult
10
to
years.
know because the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's super popular 10 years from now. It matters it's super popular in their
No.
age group with the kids that are being
Yeah,
born
Leah
right
had a
now.
rule that she wouldn't take anything that was like in the top 50 of popular
current-
names
Yeah.
from the last
Right.
year or
Is
whatever.
the database updated that frequently?
It's every year, Social Security numbers.
Oh.
Jeez. You guys have done way more homework on this than I did.
I have name issues, so
I can't imagine why.
yeah. So
Well, that's something you can control.
no, it isn't, and that's the thing that I realized the other day is that I could pick a super obscure weird name, and then some fucking celebutant comes
Sure.
out, has a kid 2 weeks later, names their kid that, and I'm completely boned.
But you're never going to get around that.
no, I know.
Yeah, you just got to roll the dice.
You take your chances.
Yeah.
You do the best you can with the information you have at hand.
I will say one of the greatest things, aside from like Gary said, whatever. There are the moments when you're just like, this is amazing. I can't believe we did this. This is fantastic.
Oh, and
Yeah.
honestly, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I have
Yeah.
that 20 times a day.
Yeah, that part's fantastic. The other cool part is you get to start thinking about, or at least I did, was like all the things you can now. It's almost like writing stuff off on your taxes. At least it is with me and my wife, where I'm just
I like that.
It's like, oh, we should buy this for the baby. This 2012 Telecaster, he was made in his year. We should definitely buy this right now. And like, okay, that kind of makes sense because I'd like a guitar from like a Les Paul from 1978 that like my dad bought me, and like it might be cool in 20 years. This, and like if you guys
You're
are
not
ever,
buying collector's plates, are you, Vinny?
no, but
Okay.
like. I don't know if it's out there. Probably is. If not, we should get together after this podcast. There needs to be a Geek Tech Dad site for all the coolest tech stuff you can buy for kids, like electronic nail clippers you can get for
The
kids.
things they'll appreciate.
Well, like I said, I was
Can't you
amazed
just
the
use,
first
like, a
time I
Dremel
walked
tool or
in.
something?
The first time I walked into a Babies
Yeah.
R Us, it kind of blew my mind because it's an entire emporium of things that you never even knew existed or that
Yeah.
you might need.
Oh,
and
it's
it's,
such-
I guess I need this thing.
It's so well lit.
yeah. It's so bright and friendly.
Of all the places I've ever shopped, they do not fuck around with
And
lighting.
the reality is, 90% of it is shit you don't need.
You don't need
They're
it.
just they're selling
What
you on the
is-
fact that you're overwhelmed and you think you need everything.
at Babies R Us in the checkout aisle, the impulse
What's the
buy
impulse
stuff.
buys?
Yeah, what are the impulse buys?
I,
like magazines
I
and
was
books
in
and
and out
stuff.
of there so quickly in the Babies R Us. I don't even know.
That place is terrifying.
It's very- it's- again,
nipple
it's very
shields?
overwhelming.
I don't know. I'm going to say nipple shields.
Pumps.
pumps have,
The pumps
their own
have a
section.
whole aisle.
Yeah.
There's excruciating detail on the pumps.
My goodness.
And I
I'm
also
spending my
learned-
Sunday.
I also no, you don't. No, you don't want to know that.
trench coat hanging out in the breast pump aisle.
It's going up to the dairy.
I just want to touch some.
Guys, we just hit $5,000.
Yay, $5,250.
Hey, let's also give a
That's
quick
crazy.
update because we are about 40 minutes into the auction that we're running for 2 hours.
I haven't looked at
What
bids at all.
items have we already put up for auction?
We've only put up the
Just
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. Okay,
Norman,
we
are
have
you
some
checking-
other
are you
cool
looking
stuff
at
coming.
emails?
I am
right?
looking at emails. The last I checked, the highest auction was $250, but
For
two
what?
people.
Several $250. This is for the game, for the collector's edition of the game.
The bids for the game are
Yes.
for up to $250.
Yes.
And-
Holy
and
crap!
auctions
For a
are-
$30 item.
Two people have bid that. Do you think there's a way that we could, if both people commit?
If there are two, if there end up being two high bids that are absolutely matched, we'll get a copy for each person.
Okay.
Awesome. But I think as of right now, it is $250.
That's impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
So we're going to leave that open until, I think, what do you say, 11 o'clock?
We said 2 hours. Yep, 11 o'clock.
So,
Are you gonna have it so that one auction closes before the next one opens? You're gonna have
Yeah.
like
See, I can't-
multiple
we can't
auctions
manage
running.
two at
Right,
once. That's
right.
crazy.
Okay. So you have until 11 o'clock to bid on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360,
Your
your
choice.
choice, version of the full season of The Walking Dead, which
And
comes
I'm
out
not even-
December 4th, and it will be signed by all the Telltale Walking
Yes.
Dead team, which includes myself.
And we'll put some stickers in, too.
Oh,
Yes,
I have
and
tons.
tested
I have
stickers.
stickers, which I do want to pimp. But make it simple in the subject line to tips that tested Walking Dead auction,
And then your bid?
and then the bid in the subject line to make it easier for us to scan.
right.
And of course,
Perfect.
a message in the body if you want.
Yeah.
Also, stickers. We are doing sticker trade, so if you mail stickers to our office,
There's
you
details
will
about
get-
that on the forums.
there. Yeah, look at the forums for details.
And
if
will,
you're just
will we
joining us-
announce the winners of auctions on the
Yeah,
podcast? Okay.
assuming if you're okay with that, let us know in the body.
I'll let you know in the body.
In the body.
I'll let you know in the body.
This is Oktoberkast. If you're just joining us, we're doing this for 24 hours. We are 3 hours in. We're an eighth of the way done.
More than that, we're
Nearly 4 hours.
almost
We're
4
almost
hours
a
in.
sixth.
This is where last year at the point, because we started at noon last year, but 4 hours in is where we said, hey, this is easy.
If you were going to
No problem.
If you were going to extrapolate
We're a sixth
where we
done.
are and how much we've raised, we're actually on a pretty good little
We're
curve.
way far ahead of where we were last year.
Yeah.
Because last year I think we were shocked when we hit 15 grand.
Yeah.
24 hours.
24
But,
hours.
yeah, but the reality is what
You
we're
did that
not
in your head.
24 hours. Yeah.
I
24
remember
That's
last
an hour
year,
less than each bombcast.
I remember last year very, very well. And I remember at this point last year going, this is great, we're totally going to do this. But I also remember where we were 16 hours later, where I was just praying for death.
I just remember Darren and Jeff talking for like 2 hours, and we were kind of sitting there going,
Don't you think, but man, some of that, again, that Dave Snyder conversation was just gold.
I don't remember a whole lot of the Dave Snyder
Dragons.
conversation.
About,
I remember
about how you
Elite
can't
Green
trust,
Dragon.
you
Can't
can't
trust the
trust
dragons with
dragons
your
because
gold.
they want your gold.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, what was going on there?
Absolutely
Are
true.
these euphemisms for something? Or are we
No,
talking
no,
about
no,
actual
he's
dragons?
serious.
Oh, you know what we
Okay.
haven't done yet? We haven't done a Mad Lib.
Well, Vinny, do you want to do our first Mad
You want
Lib?
to do a Mad
Sure.
Lib?
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
one out of here.
You want to do a Star Wars Mad Lib? A Halloween?
Sure.
Let's do a Halloween Mad Lib.
They're still wrapped in packaging.
I'll figure that out.
Okay. Well, we'll what's going on? What are you guys working on these days? You guys, games?
You
stuff?
know, games.
Game of the Year's coming
stuff.
up soon.
What?
Are you going to do something silly? Is there going to? Can I come over and pull a hat off of Ryan's
Oh my
head? There'll
god,
be a little hat
those
inside?
16-bit, those retro videos you did, like, was it last year?
Oh,
Those
we got
were amazing.
RoboCam.
Oh, the
for
green screen stuff?
Like the FMV,
Yeah.
the old Sega
Those were
CD
fun.
games. Those were fantastic.
Thank you. Those
they
were
were
a
so
lot of
well
fun.
done.
And congratulations on walking. I'm sure you've gotten a bunch so far, but congratulations.
thank you very
I'm
much.
I'm in the middle of that episode right now. I'm
Oh,
looking
cool.
for a boat.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
and
trying to
who
find
know-
a boat.
Who knows what the story might turn out.
That episode
Zombies.
has one of my favorite characters so far in the
The
game.
boat?
The boat is amazing.
The boat's pretty good.
Wait, what are you saying about characters?
I said that episode has one of my favorite
Who is
characters. Molly.
Oh yeah, well that she's very much. I'm very proud of that because she was kind of my creation.
Can I ask you a question about it?
Yeah.
So you wrote the entire script for it?
Well, so the way it works is, and I should qualify this because we had Sean and Jake here, and those guys are really the brain trust behind The Walking Dead. They came up with the whole story. I really just kind of came in and just like contributed additional ideas and kind of helped validate what they would say. No, that's great. You should definitely do that, and I'll take some of the credit for it.
So they have a start point and an end point.
As Sean said, they basically knew the end. They knew the very final scene of the series before they even shipped episode 1. They
But even
always knew what they wanted.
even for that episode, they knew where it needed to get. They knew,
Yeah,
knew where
and
it
they
was
knew
starting.
how the episodes broke down and what the big choices were, what the big dramatic beats were. They always knew where they wanted to go.
So when you're in there, is it like writing a screenplay? Are you like cut to shot of entering the sewers and like close up?
I mean, when you're actually writing it is kind of like that.
Is it?
The story process is much like a TV show where me and Shake and John and other members of the team would sit around and say, well, this should happen, or this would be a good idea, or what if we went this and did this and did that, and you all kind of decide on what to do, and then like a TV series, a writer is given the job of going away and writing it. And Sean wrote episodes 1, 3, and 5. I think it was Mark Darren wrote episode 2, and I wrote episode 4. And
Jesus, Sean wrote episodes 1, 3, and 5.
Yeah, he really kind of put the candle at both ends.
Incredible.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever done that before. I mean, he wrote the lion's share of that series.
So do you have to write all the kind of branching tree options too for like, well, if you say this,
Yeah, and initially it was all just written in a Google document, just like a linear thing, and it was this huge stack of pages. And then eventually you go into Telltale's offices and they have like a proprietary tool that visualizes all the different branches. It looks like a flow chart, so you can see all the different versions of the scene happening parallel. And there's like, well, if Lee said this earlier, then this character will do that.
Oh,
and
wow.
There's all kinds of conditional
Is it
facts
hard?
and triggers. It's very overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes easier to understand.
The Matrix.
And it becomes easier to visualize, and you start to really get geeking out and like, oh, I don't have to write this scene just one way. I can do this version and that version. And there are certain scenes in episode 4 that are really radically different depending on the way you play them.
So in your mind, is there a canon? Is there this is the way that?
No, you try to make sure that each version of the story, no matter which version you go through, you want it to be as valid as any other.
So there's not
there are certainly things that I'm like, if you ask me, I'd say, yeah, pick that, because I think that's slightly more interesting than the other version. But there isn't like one version that's broken or boring.
No, I'm just wondering in your mind.
There are some that are just like that's just slightly my favorite.
I mean, all convergence.
Like my favorite. I can't do any spoilers, but like my favorite moment in episode 4 only happens if you make one specific choice.
Oh boy!
So you don't. A lot of people don't see it because of that.
We should auction off that information.
And it's weird, and it's weird when it's one of the weird things about doing an interactive story is like we got very, very good reviews, but like sometimes when we would get dinged, like somebody would say like, well, I was really interested in this character, but I felt like they never fleshed out that character's backstory.
It's kind of on them, though, right?
Because they didn't play through the game in such a way that backstory was revealed, but you can play through in a way that the backstory is revealed. They just didn't see that version of the story, and that's one of the prices of doing that. Kind of
I wondered kind of if you take some of the branches, like in the first episode, you have a choice to go to the hotel or not. If you don't take the branch, is there a whole other thing that I missed that I would have seen if I had stayed at the drugstore?
You never know unless
you
never know unless you play through again.
Now, like I'm very interested in the backstory. There's a dog in episode 4, and I just want to know the backstory of the dog.
There is a little bit of backstory there.
Yeah.
There is some backstory.
All right.
But again, it's all optional. If you're one of those people that likes to click through and do all the look-ats and look at every single item in the game and have every single conversation, there's a lot there to see. If you just kind of like to blast through the game, then yeah, you'll get less out of it.
I feel like your dialogue options in episode 4 had the shortest timer out of any other episode that I played. They're like a millisecond. Did you time that? Because you're a real dick. Because like
we've established that.
Yeah, because those things go by so quickly.
They are very specific about that. Every fuse, every timer that ticks down is tailored to the choice. So if you think it's a very, very, very difficult choice, will often give you a long time to think about it. There are other choices that are happening here at the moment where that time is very, very short. And they will play with that down to like the quarter of a second to like make you feel like, oh, I've got to hit a button really quickly or not. And we
can't press escape, cheat out of that?
You can do that.
Yeah.
On a
what?
Well, there are certain
for example, Walking Dead with the trainer?
There's one of the big 5 choices in the game. Has a really long fuse on it, but people struggle with it so much that they will hit like the Xbox button or whatever to hold the game, and because of course you've got to be able to pause the game, so you can pause the timer.
That never even occurred to me. That is so vile and scandalous that people would do that. If you do that, you're a bad person.
Yeah, if you hit escape, it should just do that.
I feel like there
ellipsis of choice.
I feel like there should be an Iron Man mode that doesn't let you do that.
Yeah,
and doesn't let you rewind.
Dark Souls style.
Doesn't let you rewind any of your choices, because I don't like it when people do that. They'll make a choice. They won't be happy with the result, and they'll go back and redo it. But you shouldn't do that.
No.
You should live with the consequences of your choice. And that's, in fact, what most people do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm really enjoying
it. Just to clarify, when I say Molly was my creation, she actually did exist in the game as like a character. She had a model and a name, and they knew basically what she did in the story, but she didn't have a personality. So I kind of wrote her personality, and like when we were writing, I was like, I don't know if people are either going to hate this character, or she's going to be like emerge as like a fan favorite. And it seems like it's been more the latter, like people have really liked it. So I was really pleased to see that.
Well,
people
writing in
responded
that
to
like super hot naked sex,
That always
shower
helps.
scene.
That
like,
always
Of
helps.
course, it's gonna be everybody's
Wait,
favorite.
what? How do you get to that?
Well, you gotta make the right choices. Yeah.
Gotta make the right choices.
So many showers in The Walking Dead. Everybody's dirty. Has there been a clean faces mod for Walking Dead? I know that was really popular in Skyrim.
Clean faces.
Big
They
butts,
have
clean
that.
faces.
Big
yeah.
butts, clean faces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have that one.
Norman Chan, are we ready for a Mad Lib?
Which
so
Mad Lib are we doing?
I'm
I don't know which one we're doing.
give Vinny a choice.
Well, hold on, but we have a camera over here lined up.
So you
ready
got to
to
give
go.
me the one that it's
Wait,
gonna be
what?
difficult to read. 'cause
Actually, we
it's
shouldn't
not-
do this on the camera because we don't. We got to reveal
Yeah,
slowly.
exactly. Yeah,
Gary,
I don't
pick-
understand.
Gary,
What
you're
are
just
we
gonna go.
doing
We're doing Mad Libs.
Yes, but why don't we just do it like we did last year?
I think
Which
that's
we would.
exactly the right way to do it.
Okay, so well, first
We
of
don't
all,
need a camera for
Wait,
it.
we need a camera on Gary. Just Gary reading
Oh,
the
look at
Mad.
this. We have like composite images and all kinds of stuff.
We were going to put the Mad Lib up, but that'll blow the whole thing.
No,
if you-
we shouldn't.
no.
No, we
See
absolutely
it
shouldn't
as
do
it's
that.
going.
But first of all, I'm going to give Vinny a choice. You can
Yes.
have Mad Libs from Outer Space,
Okay.
or Monster Mad Libs, which is like Halloween.
Is it
That
just
seems
a-
appropriately
You want
themed.
to do Monster Mad Libs?
Yeah.
I was going to
Right.
ask, is it real outer space or is it like science fiction-y outer space? Is it NASA?
Well, it's I mean, there's a little
Mad Lib, dude.
little cartoon guy in space.
It's
You
the
can
world.
draw
It's the
your-
most
draw your
popular
own-
world game in the
That's how
world.
Draw your
NASA's
own
making its money
conclusions.
now.
Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Sad time.
No space shuttles.
Thanks, Obama.
So I'm just going to pick the very first one in the book,
I'm
and
gonna
this
take advantage of
is
this. Go get a
the
beverage.
title of this Mad Libs is description of a horror TV show.
Okay.
So you know how this works, right?
Sure.
I'll ask you for
You
different
could be
words.
a TV producer.
Am I the only one who's filling this in?
You are.
Oh my gosh.
Every guest.
Oh, wow.
Every
fills in a Mad Lib.
guest, yeah, you're going to do a whole one, then I'm going to read it back for you.
Okay.
And every guest, well, actually, we've already whiffed on the first couple of guests.
Dude,
but
is there a time limit for
Lot-
I feel like there should
No,
be.
no.
Is there a
But just-
fuse going for these?
try to
Alright.
put it together as quickly as you can. Jeff Green last year did a legendary one of these.
Okay,
We
so
actually
no
ended up
pressure.
Reading it back like, yeah, the pressure was I don't think we're ever going to get that good again, but we'll try. Okay, here we go. Give me an animal.
An animal, hamster.
Keep in mind, these are horror shows.
I don't care.
He
Alright.
doesn't need to know the context. A person in the room.
There are only 3 people in the room. You could have.
Norm.
Okay. Okay.
Not Will Smith.
Occupation.
Monster.
That's an occupation. All right.
Yeah.
Why not? Another person in the room.
Not Will Smith.
Okay. I guess I'll put me because I'm the only other.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll put not Will Smith. Why not? A noun.
Blueberry.
Good stuff. I like the way
being a
your
dad
mind's
is
working. I think
brought
this
you
could
all
be a good
PG,
one.
Vinny.
I'm not looking at the context.
I don't
of
need
this,
to be
but it might
dirty.
good. A place.
Be creative.
Norm's asshole. You happy?
I have a good feeling about this one.
Getting there.
I think Vinny's going to set the bar high.
Yeah.
A type of liquid.
Merconium.
Wow, you are a dad.
Yeah,
Meconium, in case
look
you're
it
not-
up.
And meconium, in case you don't know, is basically kind of like the proto shit that
It's-
comes out of a baby.
It's tar.
Wait.
Yeah, it's like thick black.
Tar.
It's the color of this wall.
Imagine
No,
like
it's darker.
It's like a black Nutella spackle that comes out of a baby's asshole.
So you're saying mix like Nutella with some black bean sauce and put it in the microwave?
And the
Make it more runny?
only way.
no,
to
it's
get-
not more red. It's like really
Yeah,
thick.
the only way to get it off a
thick.
baby is with like that shit you got to spray on gum to freeze it and chisel it off.
Imagine
Liquid
like what's,
nitrogen.
imagine like what's the shit when you like tile a bathroom? Like the grout.
Grout,
yeah.
It's like black grout. And it stinks like sulfurous shit. It's
I'm
awful.
good, Wilson, here for this part.
Yeah.
This is the stuff you
And there's
talk
a-
about.
That's
It sounds like merconium sounds like
meconium.
it sounds like something invented in Berkeley labs or something like an isotope that existed for 0.2 seconds.
if that's what keeps you happy. Yeah, think about it that way.
I'd like an adjective.
Oily.
All right.
Viscous.
Noun.
Armpit.
Adjective. Hey, well, you missed some good content while you were away.
I heard meconium.
If only you'd heard the rest.
What were we up to?
Adjective.
Funky.
All right, that's a good one. Noun. We're almost done.
Noun. Ball sweat.
You.
No one wanted me to
Not
go
yet.
blue.
Well, you're trying to Jeff
Going
Green it up.
blue always gets you a certain kind
Yeah.
of, it's bound to be a crowd pleaser. That's what Jeff Green did.
Who led off with felching last year? Was that Brad?
I think it might be
Sounds
Brad.
like Brad. Oh, you mean the master of Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah. The mild-mannered Brad Shoemaker also is a horrible monster.
Noun.
Oh, another noun. A snot sucker.
This is the kind of humor that we
Another
bring.
person in the room.
Oh, one more person in the room?
One more,
Oh,
why not?
perfect.
Who hasn't been named yet?
Well, now we can do Will, right? Because you only did not Will. Smith.
Okay, so yeah.
And that will tie it back together.
Yep, Will Smith.
And finally, adverb.
Uh,
Add that ly.
yeah.
I continue my trend of not liking the Mad Libs.
But everyone else likes them.
I know, that's why we were doing them. I'm not one to say no to the crowd. All the cool kids are doing it as always.
This is my last one, right?
Last
Yeah.
one.
Jeez. Unflinchingly.
Ooh, it's an adverb.
That's a good word.
That's
what
what
we
we
needed.
wanted.
Oh.
We asked for
nice
an
job.
adverb, Will.
Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a description of a horror TV show. So this will set the bar. We'll see if this is a high bar or a low bar.
Mad Lib number one.
I suspect it's
I feel
a
bad
low
that we
bar.
ripped off Brad Muir and Roger Chang and
I'm sure they would have.
Idle
Yeah.
Thumbs
I
guys.
bet you
And
Sean
Ryan.
and Jake would have done
Yeah.
a good Mad Lib. We'll have him back next time. Last week, I saw a television show that really gave me hamster pimples. It starred Norm as a mad monster who discovers a way to make bed bugs 14 feet high. The scientist has a goofy assistant, played by not Will Smith, who gets mad because the scientist keeps hitting him on the head with a blueberry, so he lets the bed bugs loose. Right away, they start to eat up Norm's asshole.
No, not the bed bugs. I'm not liking this at all. Oh no!
This is horrible. It's horrible. Bring it home, gang. You gotta keep reading.
I've lost my place.
I think it was around the part where you said Norm's asshole.
Just read the last part again.
That's what it was. Right away, they start... Hits him on the head with a blueberry, so he lets the bed bugs loose. Right away, they start to eat up Norm's asshole.
Yeah.
The,
Okay.
the army tries to stop them by spraying them with meconium.
That's not where it should go.
Oh,
But
no.
that doesn't bother those oily bed bugs. They go right on and eat up Chicago. Then the army drops some atom armpit on them, and this kills all of them except one super bed bug who grabs the funky scientist and jumps into a volcano. And then the goofy assistant takes off his disguise and says, I was only a ball sweat for the FBI. And he marries the scientist's beautiful snot sucker, who is played by Will Smith, and they live unflinchingly ever after.
All right.
So I
That was pretty good.
feel like the high points there were pretty easy to identify.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blueberry.
this first act was very
Yeah,
strong.
Blueberry was really, that was
Yeah.
the money.
Second act, not so much. It's kind of a soft finish in the third.
Yeah.
Vinny Caravella, thank you so much.
I feel
Oh,
like going
thank you.
blue is always the way to go.
Yeah, just go as dirty as possible.
Way to do the Mad Libs.
Thank you guys, and good luck on the charity drive.
Thank you, sir.
All the money goes. I
Thank you,
donated.
Vinny.
This is to Child's Play. Thank you so much. You gave time. That's all. That's more than enough.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah,
Taking these
we'll
headphones
see you
off.
soon. Yeah, take your headphones and that was Vinny Caravella, ladies and gentlemen, from Gigante Bomb.
Yeah.
We are going to do a quick changeover because we've got to change the recordings. We'll be back in like 2 seconds. For the next minute, maybe two, it's exclusive live stream content. See you, Vinny.
See ya. And congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Vinny.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thank you guys.
I'm closing my